Good morning. It is now 5 o'clock, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Well, here we go again with the beautiful weather.
This morning, 50s and 60s getting up and out the door. Good sunshine this afternoon. We're back to the upper 70s, low 80s, very similar to the last couple of days. Tomorrow, we have more cloud cover mixing in.
Channel 4 Stefano DiPietro there, and there is stormy weather moving in late Saturday into Sunday. Keep it here for all the latest. Once again, a judge has stepped in front of President Trump's authority. Now, the fight over firings is being legislated in the courts.
A judge has ordered the administration to immediately halt the mass firings of government employees. The administration yesterday warned up to 10,000 federal workers could be fired. Trump is promising to target programs supported by Democrats.
And they're going to be terminated on a permanent basis.
As the legal battle over the firings plays out, hundreds of thousands of government workers are now going without paychecks.
ABC's Nicole D'Antonio. Now, it's not likely that the Democrats will vote to reopen the government before the No Kings protests this weekend. There are more than 30 demonstrations planned for this weekend, including here in Tennessee, including in Nashville, Murfreesboro, and Clarksville. They're being organized by the progressive coalition called Indivisible to challenge President Trump's policies. Metro Councilwoman Courtney Johnston has a suggestion for homeowners who just got their tax bills showing a massive increase.
What I would say is the anger and the angst that you feel when you open up that bill, I hope that you feel that in 2027 and vote accordingly.
Davidson County saw a flood of appeals after this year's reappraisal showed a 45% jump in median property values, and then the Metro Council raised the tax rate, adding to the financial pressure, and homeowners are being asked to pay up right now. Fox 17 says 2/3 of the 19,000 homeowners who appealed their new property values have been denied. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com.
Once again, gains in the tech sector lifted markets that were being weighed down by an escalating trade war and a prolonged government shutdown. The Dow dipped 17 points. The S&P gained 26. The Nasdaq grew 148 points. AI chipmaker Advanced Micro Devices jumped 9% in midday trading after two analysts raised their price targets on shares and a third upgraded AMD stock to outperform. ASML, a major supplier to the semiconductor industry, says it expects its revenue for 2025 to be 15% above last year's, while next year's should be at least as high as this year's. Several big banks also helped the market gain ground. Bank of America climbed 4% after delivering a stronger than expected profit. Morgan Stanley climbed nearly 5% for the same reason. J.M. Smucker is suing Trader Joe's, saying its new frozen peanut butter and jelly sandwiches are too similar to Uncrustables. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Stock futures on the plus side. The Dow futures up 153. NASDAQ futures gaining 117. S&P futures are plus 21. That is the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. A crash early on this morning, 65 northbound, just before the I-24 exit, 86 A and B. There's a crash there involving injuries. Traffic every 10 minutes, every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.507 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. I'm sorry, I'm a little just, my phone's ringing?
What?
Yeah. Hello? Joan, Nancy Pelosi is on the phone for you.
She is?
Yeah. She says,
Shut up.
I saw this video. Oh, my goodness.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up. I've been waiting for 15 minutes to do that stupid bit.
Like a kid in a candy store. He was just looking at me and grinning like, I can't wait.
I was like, just make sure Joan's there. Make sure my audio's up so that I could play.
Shut up.
Anyway, there you go. All right, so this is funny. I'm not going to do a deep dive into this, but I do find this funny. I don't know who this reporter is. First of all, can I ask a couple of questions? And if you're watching on YouTube, Super Talk TV and all that, you can see that Nancy Pelosi, I guess this was this yesterday afternoon? So she is walking along the steps of the Capitol. Now, Nancy Pelosi, I think, is she like 105?
Shut up.
Okay, I don't know how old you are, Nancy, but you know what? You are way too old to be in Congress.
Shut up.
Because you can barely walk. She's walking in this video, and she needs help to walk along the steps. Now, she's not walking up or down the steps. She's simply walking like on a step. And she needs somebody's help to walk. So she has a reporter in tow asking her questions about January 6th.
Congresswoman Pelosi, are you at all concerned that the new January 6th committee will find you liable for that day? Are you at all concerned about the new January 6th committee finding you liable for that day? Why did you refuse the National Guard on January 6th?
Now, she turns at this point. She turns to look the reporter square in the face.
Shut up. I did not refuse the National Guard. The president didn't send it. Why are you coming here with Republican talking points as if you're a serious journalist?
The American people want to know. We still have questions. Thank you.
Here's the best part, and I didn't notice this, but at the end, and again, you folks,
turns around.
She does. She turns around. Who is this reporter?
I don't know who
like
she
to know.
is, but she turned around and gave the biggest smile.
She turns around and gives the biggest smile, like, yep, totally got her. Totally got her. Is that one of Chris Hand's people? Do we know?
I don't know.
No, but now I know why you wanted to play the clip.
So,
not because she's a hotosaurus. No, I'm just saying that I think it's funny as all get out that, well, she's a good-looking
What kind
woman.
of noise does a hotosaurus make?
Don't make me do it, man.
You opened the door.
You know what?
Shut up.
Shut up. I don't need to hear it from you. Remember, that's one of my pet names for the lovely Miss Amy.
yeah.
Hotosaurus.
Oh, okay, yeah.
She begs me, Dan, quit calling me a hotosaurus. Dan, please just
Shut up.
And I never learned my lesson. And as a matter of fact, Chris Hand made fun of me because he was like, what other dinosaur pet names do you call your wife, Dan? And I, of course, said to Chris Hand,
Shut up.
moving right along. Anyway.
What I loved most about that video
Yes.
is that she needed help. She needed help. Then she pivots like the demon within her has just possessed her entire body.
Yes.
She spins around and with as much gusto as she can gather up, puts her finger in that reporter's face and says, shut up. And then she yells at her, and then she turns back around again leans on the guy's arm as he's taking her away. Like something in there, like totally possessed her body to turn around and spin like she did.
Do you know what the funny thing, though, Joan, about Nancy Pelosi, knowing that she is the possessed demon that she is, she didn't have to turn her whole body around. She could have just, had her head spin around like she's the possessed demon that she is.
Shut up.
I'm just saying. Whatever.
She's not very nice to you.
I don't know. I think that the reporter was asking about this video January 6th in the car.
Call the Capitol Police? I mean, the National Guard? Why weren't the National Guard there to begin with?
They thought that they had sufficient resources.
That is not a question of how they had. They don't know. They clearly didn't know, and I take responsibility for not having them just prepare for more.
There you go. So, I mean, it sounds to me like Nancy Pelosi took responsibility for not having the National Guard there. And if you folks don't know the argument is that Nancy Pelosi said no to having the National Guard at the Capitol on January 6th. And reason being, they knew there were indications that there would be, I'm going to air quote all this, pro-Trump violence, and they could politicize that violence, which is exactly what happened.
Bingo.
There you go.
Oh, the reporter. That's right. That reporter was from Lindell TV.
Oh, keeps getting
Mike Lindell's TV channel.
She's the best thing about Mike Lindell TV.
Shut up.
I just.
Thank you, 7370.
Oh, they're super. Oh, hello, super texters. I haven't even said good morning to them yet.
I wonder if her tagline is. Never mind.
You know what? I just threw down Hotosaurus this morning, so you've got whatever you wanted to say, unless it's going to get me in trouble.
Well,
Sam.
She's got the kind of news that you want to take with my pillow to bed.
Shut up.
That's what I have to say to you. Shut up. Anyway, so, yeah. And Republicans, once again, of course, looking, God, it's like the Republicans are looking into, I want to Joan, make sure I have this right.
Yeah.
The Republicans are going to investigate the investigation into January 6th.
I think you got it right.
Is that what's going on?
I think you got it right.
You know what?
Think of another reason why the entire committee would need to be pardoned.
Yes.
You know what? Nancy Pelosi has a message for you.
Shut up.
There you go. All right. I'm not going to do this all morning long. I know people are like, please.
Already.
Somebody take the button away from Mandis.
Yeah, I wish that we had, how we have the counter for the dadgummits with
Tim Burchett. Yes.
I think we need a counter for the shut ups.
How many, or the other day when I was playing the scissor sound effect ad nauseum?
Shut up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That one too.
Mm-hmm.
You don't overdo it at all, Dan.
Shut up.
Actually, you know what's so funny? Sam was telling me off the air, and then I promise we're going to get to real business. Sam was telling me off the air that his parents finally listened to the radio show the other morning. And what do you think? What do you think the segment was, Joan, that they heard? They heard, of course, the segment with,
of course,
the snip, 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 snip. And Sam, you're telling me off the air that your parents were like, what is wrong with him?
It was mainly my dad, and he was like, man, about the fifth time he played that, I was ready to throw my radio out my car window.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a little violent, actually.
Well,
was your dad like, saying,
shut up
to me? Is that what he was doing?
Pretty much.
Okay.
He wanted to know,
why does Mandis overdo it?
Not specifically.
Yeah.
Why does he ever do it? But just like, is he nervous? Is he that nervous?
You know what's so funny? I am very nervous about my vasectomy. I realize that men have been doing this for years and years and years. And you know what's so funny? Earlier this week, I got a call from the vasectomy doctor. They wanted to put this thing off 3 weeks.
What'd you tell him?
You know what I told them? I told them to
shut up.
I said, no, I'm not waiting 3 weeks.
Don't.
Because the buildup to this stupid vasectomy in my head has been like months on end. So, no, I need to get this thing done. And it's got to get done. And it's got to get done soon, as in tomorrow.
If they cancel on you, I know a rancher that can handle it.
That's okay.
A little branding.
Joan, do you know anything about vasectomies?
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. My dad had one.
So how bad was it for him? Like, was he over it in a couple of days? Because you need to think about what's going on in my house, right? Mm-hmm. So Amy is still leaking Amy goo from her surgery.
What? Yeah.
And now I'm going to be walking around, with a bunch of bags of frozen peas.
Poor Riker. Must be looking at his parents going, man,
he is.
I never want to grow up.
You know what? This is an excuse for him to stay in his room.
Yes.
No, there's a lot about this thing that I'm very nervous about. But it's going to be fine. It's going to be just fine. I just want to make sure that the scissors-wielding doctor doesn't sneeze at the wrong time.
Mm.
And that you have a stock of frozen peas.
Yeah, and there's a Sam Kinison bit somewhere in world history about a vasectomy doctor with Parkinson's.
Shut up.
Now we're done. 5:17 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super text line is open, 615-737-9986, 615-737-WWTN. Coming up at 7:35, Hans von Spakovsky is going to be here to explain to us what exactly it is that is going on with the Voting Rights Act. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to do a whole deep dive on this. I don't have time to do it now. But basically what's happening is the Republicans, it's going up in front of the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court, including John Roberts, by the way, Chief Justice John Roberts, did we forget traffic? We forgot traffic.
We forgot traffic, let me tell you real quick.
And I know that there's something going on.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
65 northbound at the North Loop. You've got an accident at the exit 86AB. That's for I-24, I-65. That crash there involves injuries. Could be backed up in that spot. Be careful. Done.
All right, thank you, John. Can I tell you what makes me nervous? Is it when I'm talking and then I hear you talking to Sam in the talk back. And I know that you're talking about me just like Johnny and Ken used to do.
Well, Dan.
I'd be like in the middle of a monologue or something, and I hear them talking back and forth, and I'm like, I know they're talking about me.
So a super texter gave me just a fantastic idea.
Yes.
What do you think about that, Dan?
No, the whole point of a vasectomy is to get rid of the great balls of fire.
Great balls of fire.
Although that is pretty funny.
Yeah.
That is pretty funny.
Thank you, super texter.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's good to know that they are out in force this morning. So
15 seconds.
Oh, here's a super texter that's going to really.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
He said he got a vasectomy 4 times. His ex-wife kept getting pregnant.
Oh, that's BS.
It's his ex-wife, you see.
Yeah.
If he got the vasectomy and she's getting pregnant.
Oh, I got it. Oh, ooh.
Okay.
I'm a little slow this morning.
Yeah, you are.
It's situations like that kept me fed and clothed as a child. My parents did as attorneys.
Yes, indeed. All right, real quick, just because I don't want to do this all day.
Shut up.
7:35, Hans von Spakovsky is going to join us. Going to talk about the Voting Rights Act. It is in front of the Supreme Court. Section, I think it's 2 of the Voting Rights Act is under examination. And it looks like bottom line is that if the Republicans get to do what they want to do with this Voting Rights Act, and it all has to do with redistricting and race and all that, they're going to pick up like 19 House seats if this goes through. Now, I know what's going to happen. The left is going to scream, voter suppression, voter suppression. It's all racist, right? What the Republicans are doing with the Voting Rights Act in front of the Supreme Court, it comes out of a case in Louisiana, is they're using the law to their advantage. That's what the Republicans are doing. And Democrats, you know darn right well that if you had the opportunity to do this, you would do it as well.
And they're going to need to. Did you see what Tim Walz did yesterday?
No.
signed into law driver's licenses for all in Minnesota.
Are you kidding me?
And then in another committee, a Republican representative was making sure that if you have any kind of state-issued ID in Minnesota, you'll be able to vote. And the answer was yes.
There you go. All right, very good. 521 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 and WTN. Yeah, you know what the bottom line is? They're going to scream that the Democrats are going to scream that the Republicans, Supreme Court, Voting Rights Act, that they're trying to suppress the vote. Well, you know what I would say is that when you allow all of these illegal aliens to vote and do all of these things that no ID, all that kind of stuff, ultimately that is the Democrats suppressing the vote as well on the other side. Because there's a lot of people, and I'm not one of these people, but there's a lot of people on our side that say, oh, why should we go vote? The Democrats are just going to steal it. With, again, no voter ID and letting illegals vote or allowing illegals to vote or cheat or whatever, then it's like Republicans feel that way. Now, I don't, again, ascribe to that, and I think we saw from the previous election that Republicans were more fired up than ever. So, I think Minnesota, California, all of these other states, we as conservatives, we need to do what we can utilizing.
Wow.
That's a sound that happens when I'm making a great point. Totally kidding. But when these left-leaning states do these things, then the right-leaning states need to respond in kind. And that is what's happening here. All right. And I'm going to go through all of that coming up probably in the 6 o'clock hour. And again, Hans von Spakovsky is going to join us, legal expert with the Heritage Foundation, constitutional attorney, and all of that. He will be joining us at the 7:35 right here on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. All right. That felt like a long segment to me. Was it just me? Joan's like, shut up. All right. Joan was coming up at 5:30.
How come I don't have any of those hotkeys? We'll tell you the one arrest that makes the whole Memphis crime crackdown worth it, according to Attorney General Pam Bondi. And also the PA system and the TV screens at one U.S. airport hacked. Where do you hear the message there? Those stories and more coming up at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
527, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super text line is open, 615-737-9986, 615-737-WWTN. Joan, you ever get a text from somebody you have no idea who it is?
A text? Yeah, on occasion that's happened, yeah.
So my buddy Tony, who I know, friend of family and so forth, sends me a text and he says, Dan, when you get the vasectomy, get the gas. All right, so that's fine. Good advice.
Okay.
But I'm like, who the hell is this? I've been going back and forth with this person since 2020, but it's not somebody that I regularly text with.
So, did you look at the previous text?
Oh, I went.
Jog your memory.
I went back 5 years.
Oh my gosh!
And I finally figured it out. Thank you, Tony. It's Michelle's cousin, Michelle's boyfriend, Tony. That's all I got on that. That does though. Are you like me though? You don't. You know what I should? Oh my gosh! You know it's so funny.
I try to memorialize every text I get so that I remember who it is.
So here's what's funny. And I shouldn't say this because, Tony, you're great. I love you. So do you always label a person's phone number, like give them a name? Or do you wait until they're in your life for a certain amount of time and then you actually put their name on the phone number?
You got to go from emoji to name and make them earn it.
That's the thing. Do they earn an actual place in my contacts?
Yeah.
And I feel bad because I like Tony a lot. So Tony, I'm gonna go ahead and put you now in my contacts. Congratulations.
So not that long ago there was a listener whom I met at a store and she gave me cookies for the morning show. Remember her? Donna.
Yeah.
She's in
the
my
Polish?
phone. Yeah, the Polish cookies. Yeah.
Oh man, Donna.
She's in my phone as Donna in parentheses listener.
Okay. Well, that's nice.
Yeah, I mean, you add them so it jogs your memory about, like...
Yes.
I would have had the Polish flag and a cookie.
Anyway, so...
Donnie's begging for more cookies.
All right, yeah, clearly. All right, so real quick, by the way, what? Phone? It's Donna? Donna's on the phone? She's got a message for Sam? Yeah?
I think I know what it is.
Is it? Is it...
Shut up.
Is it shut up? Is that Donna telling Sam to shut up? All right, it's 5:30 WTN.
Good morning. It is 5:30 and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. It's 61 degrees right now, fair skies. Sunny and 81 again today, very much like yesterday. But we do have storms moving in over the weekend, so you want to keep it here for all the latest. In the news at the White House yesterday, a press conference to announce the results of Operation Summer Heat, the 3-month initiative to crack down on violent crime across the country. FBI Director Kash Patel said 8,700 people accused of violent crimes have been arrested. And Attorney General Pam Bondi spoke about the ongoing crackdown in Memphis.
Last night alone in Memphis, there were almost 70 arrests. There were 12 guns seized. And there was a 70-year-old man arrested as a result of our operation in Memphis who raped a child under the age of 3. That one case makes everything we're doing worthwhile.
In Memphis, federal agents and local police are collaborating. There have been no clashes, as we've seen in Chicago and in Portland. Nashville International Airport says it is not currently running that video featuring Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem.
Democrats in Congress refuse to fund the federal government. And because of this, many of our operations are impacted, and most of our TSA employees are working without pay.
Officials there say they have not received a request to feature that video on the screens throughout the airport. In Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, somebody hacked into the public address system with pro-Hamas messages.
Perfect hacker Cyber Islam is here. Telegramational Cyber Islam. Free Palestine. Free Palestine.
Video screens also showed disturbing Islamic images and statements such as Israel lost the war, Hamas won. No one has been arrested so far. That is the latest news. Traffic is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Still got that accident this morning on the North Loop. It's I-65 northbound before the I-24 I-65 north exit, which is 86AB. They're saying that in the cameras, you can't see this, but there's reportedly an injury crash in that area. We're not seeing any delays really on 65. What's that, 40?
My bad.
Or 24? And otherwise this morning, you're looking okay. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You're not supposed to turn on the on button on your microphone.
My bad.
Yeah.
No, that was, I was trying to play some audio in Q here, and I had the thingy up.
Sorry to hear that.
The potentiometer. All right, it is 5:37, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and there is quite a bit going on. Yes or no, Joan? Let me ask you this question. Sam, you can play too. Yes or no? The Republicans have a good chance of keeping the majority in the House of Representatives in 2026. Yes or no? What do you think? Okay, so you say yes. Joan, what do you say? And be honest.
So I see beyond that. I would say that the Republicans have a good chance of adding to the majority in the midterms.
Okay. You both would be right, at least according to one of my faves, Harry Enton, at least when he's saying something that I agree with.
Can we just say that the man's energy when he talks about this stuff is kind of unmatched?
You know what? It is not only unmatched, but he's very colorful, and he is unaffected by people who criticize him for presenting facts and figures and statistics like he's doing a Broadway show. And I have no problem with that at all. But listen to this. Midterm elections, of course, on the way, a long ways away, but people are still talking about it, and Republicans are looking good right now. For a number of different reasons. I think one of the reasons is because the Democrats are, quite frankly, insane. But let's take a look and listen as to whether or not the Republicans will retain control of the House of Representatives, courtesy of CNN's Harry Enton. So you had, just to set this up, back in April, Democrats were up 83 percentage points for the chance to win back the House. 83% back in April. Now, 63%. They've lost 20 percentage points. Republicans were only at a 17% chance of keeping the House. They are now at 37%. So the Democrats lost 20%. Republicans gained 20%. The bottom line right now is, and we're gonna talk about why, but the bottom line now is that the Republicans have all the momentum.
Okay, so, if you go back 6 months ago, you go back to April, Kate Baldwin, what were we looking at? Well, we were looking at the Democrats with a very clear shot of taking control of the U.S. House of Representatives, according to the Kalshi prediction market odds. We saw them at an 83% chance. But those odds have gone plummeting down. Now we're talking about just a 63% chance, while the GOP's chances up like a rocket, up like gold, up from 17% to now a 37% chance. So we'll look like a pretty clear, likely Democratic win in the House come next year. Has become much closer to a toss-up at this point, although still slightly leaning Democratic.
What's changed? What are you saying?
Well, the Democrats are insane. That's what's changed. I think they've got insaner, though, Joan. I think that's what it is. They've gotten insaner. Remember yesterday we talked about how it's crazy to trust Democrats on, mundane things like tax policy because the rest of their ideas are so insane. I mean, think about this. Would you trust the Democrats on tax policy when their ideas about men in girls' bathrooms, pro-open border, anti-police, pro-crime, all of these things, these days are tenets or hallmarks of Democrat rule in Democrat cities? We got an example. I didn't even realize this until this morning. Joan was telling me the group of juveniles who attacked Big Balls in Washington, D.C. I don't have his actual name in front of me, but not one of them got jail time. Not one. And dude was beaten up so bad, they put him in the hospital. So why would you trust them on tax policy? So the answer to the question, what has changed, I think the Democrats have become more and more radical. And so I would say that not only do elections have consequences, but so does behavior. And the behavior of the Democrats has been absolutely obscene. Now, back in 2017, when the Democrats, this is like 2017, 2018, when the Democrats took back the House during Trump's first term from April to October, and you compare it now to this election cycle, the Democrats have completely lost the plot. First Trump term, heading into the midterms, they were at +8. Now, these days, in this Trump term, they've not gained any momentum at all. They remain at +3, which isn't a wide margin, especially when you look at the momentum of the Republicans. Listen to this.
Shut up.
That's not what I wanted to play. This is what I wanted to play. Thank you, though, Nancy.
Well, the Democrats are no longer keeping pace with the pace that they were setting back in 2017, 2018. You look back in 2017, you saw that the Democrats had leaped up to an 8-point advantage. I remember covering this. I remember a lot of folks, including myself, saying, you know what, Republicans look pretty decent right now in terms of the fact that they had the House, they had the Senate, they had the presidency, but things were likely going to flip. And I was looking for the same signs this year. The bottom line is it hasn't happened, Kate Baldwin. It hasn't happened. Democrats have stayed basically steady. They have fallen off the pace. Democrats were way out ahead back in 2017 on the generic congressional ballot. And now we're basically looking at Democrats ahead. But again, they are so far in back of the pace that they set back there. And so I think what a lot of folks are seeing, folks like myself, are saying, wait a minute, given what we might be seeing in redistricting, is this +3 going to be enough, Kate Baldwin?
Well, that's what I was going to ask. One change from that cycle is also this mid-decade redistricting effort that we've been covering so much. You add that in, and what do you get?
You get screwed Democrats. That's what you get, actually. So remember, because we've been talking about this, the mid-decade redistricting. You know what? Maybe I'll ask Hans von Spakovsky at 7:35 about that as well. But you had it happening in Texas and Missouri. So now California, Florida, some other states are looking at it as well. You've got all of these court battles. You've got these legislative battles going on. So who really knows where this is going to land? But so far, Harry Enton says that it is Republicans with the advantage. Up 7, as a matter of fact. So you look at redistricting, you look at the Voting Rights Act, which we talked about earlier. I'm going to go into a deep dive on what is going on at the Supreme Court with the Voting Rights Act coming up at 6:06 here on Nashville's Morning News. But Harry Enton says when it comes to redistricting, the Voting Rights Act with the Supreme Court, and just the momentum, it's all Republicans.
If both sides max out at this point, there are more Republican gains possible than Democratic gains. Yes, the Democrats might try to counter a Texas and a California, but you go along in the different states and basically Democrats run out of room where Republicans are able to gain and gain and gain. If both sides max out, we're probably looking at a GOP gain of +7 House seats. That doesn't even take into account the potential gutting of the VRA that is right now going to be in front of the Supreme Court. If you add that in, you could be looking... The
Voting Rights Act.
What? Yes, exactly right. The Voting Rights Act. If you add that in, then you could be looking about adding 10, 12, 15, 17 on top of this 7 seats. So I think a lot of folks like myself are looking at this. We're seeing, hey, wait a minute. Those national polls are Democrats are not gaining the way that we expected. Then you add in the fact that the state legislators are adding potentially more GOP seats like they've already done down in Texas, like they've done in Missouri. And then you add in the potential gutting of the VRA. And all of a sudden, it becomes much more difficult for Democrats to gain, especially given that they are not keeping up with their 2017, 2018 pace.
Well, and the reason, obviously, that they're not keeping up with the pace from, 2017, 2018 is because Republicans have seen the behavior of the Democrats. Not only that, but independents have seen the behavior of the Democrats as well. I mean, Joan was just reporting. Joan, are you there? Is Joan hanging out?
Yep.
Joan, what was that thing you were talking about in Memphis? They found Pam Bondi was talking about this, a 70-year-old man
who had raped a child under the age of 3.
And yet they have the audacity to say, oh, we shouldn't have this law enforcement surge in Memphis. Even though they just found that law enforcement surge found a 70-year-old man raping a 3-year-old. I mean, that is insanity.
So, no. The classification is under the age of 3. The disgusting, nature of that, it makes me sick.
Yeah.
It makes me sick.
I wonder how long that had been going on.
Right. And how many other victims there may be.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the guy's 70. He's had a lot of time to be a degenerate.
And how do people get away with that for so long?
I mean,
not knowing how long he's been doing this, but, I mean, good Lord, how long has he been doing this? And so anybody, and this is the funny thing, is that anybody who has a problem with the law enforcement surge in whether we're talking about Memphis, whether we're talking about Chicago, Portland, San Francisco now is going to be next, I think that you just, as Pam Bondi did, you just look at what they are uncovering in those cities. And the crazy thing is, if you think about this, if Trump goes after San Francisco, I think that is going to be huge because he's going after Gavin Newsom's state. He's going after Gavin Newsom's city because Gavin Newsom, remember, I believe he was the mayor of San Francisco, right? I think now Gavin Newsom was the mayor of San Francisco, and then I forget his journey, but yeah. And I think this is something where Trump is now coming right into Gavin Newsom's front yard. And so now Gavin Newsom is going to be put in the position of saying, you know what, we don't want the National Guard here. And I know that they were in Los Angeles before, but if you have another surge and you're going to San Francisco, I think this is going to be really, you look at the differences between the two sides, where Gavin Newsom and his state of California, all of this crime going on, all of the homelessness that's going on, the drug use that is going on, all of the gangs that are in California, the illegal immigration. I think that what Trump is doing is he is basically bringing the fight directly to Gavin Newsom, like he did when he brought law enforcement into Los Angeles, and he's going to continue on with this fight in San Francisco. And I think that's important because we do have a presidential election coming up, and it is important if you feel like, and I believe that we are right in this fight, that we do bring the fight to them, that we don't cower when they start calling us racist and all of those other things. What is racist about wanting to save lives, black, white, or otherwise? But the reality is, I forget who said it. Somebody said that, and it was somebody on the Republican side. Again, I forget who said it. But, basically they said, listen, I think, was it Kid Rock? Maybe it was Kid Rock. But saying that by bringing in the National Guard and additional law enforcement to cities like Memphis, to cities like Washington, D.C., not only are you saving lives, but you're saving a lot of black lives. And Democrats are saying, oh, that's actually not true. It actually is true. I mean, common sense will tell you that if you have more law enforcement in a city where there's a lot of murders and the people that are being murdered are, by and large, you just look at the statistics, they're black folks, then you are saving black lives. There's no other way to look at it. Need some video. This is Donald Trump. This was yesterday in the Oval Office during the conversation about him wanting to go into San Francisco. He was talking about what is going on in Chicago.
I used to watch these cities with the murders. Chicago recently had one deal where they had 11 murders in one weekend, and they said, well, yeah, but it was a holiday weekend. They actually told me that was the reason. Yeah. Like it was okay because it was a holiday. It was Labor Day. These people are the worst.
I mean, listen, he's absolutely right. Donald Trump is right. Oh, you know what? Doesn't matter. It's just Labor Day. It's Memorial Day. It's summertime. We're going to see it's no big deal. It's summertime in Chicago. We're used to all these people dying. It's not a big deal. At least if you're a Democrat. There was a video, and I can't play it on the air. There was just too many, beeps that I would have to do. But there is some dude that was on I think it was TikTok or Instagram, but he was from Memphis. And the guy was saying that they want and they need the blankety, 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 blankety National Guard in Memphis. And he wasn't castigating the National Guard, but he was saying, we need them here. Because we do have all of this crime. And if you want to save lives, which President Trump does want to save lives, if you want to save lives, then yes, you've got to bring them here. And not to belabor the point, we've said this 1,000 times now, but Tennessee will not be what it can be if Memphis continues to be a crap hole. Let's see here. This headline from CNN, Trump confirms authorization of CIA action in Venezuela. We'll talk about that straight ahead. 5:52 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super Text line is open, 615-737-9986. Hold on. All right. Okay. So we're training a new producer, and it's okay. Don't worry about it. This is where I tease to Joan to find out what is going on with the news. Joan.
So a Williamson County football coach lost his job. The reason why, you'll be scratching your head coming up here. Also, we have the latest news out of Hickman County, Humphreys County, where the explosion happened at AES. The most recent update last night will bring you what the police there have had to say. That's all coming up here at 6 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
5:57, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So President Trump, I was talking earlier, just made mention that CNN is covering the story. The headline, Trump confirms authorization of CIA action in Venezuela. This is the story from the Associated Press. President Trump confirming Wednesday that he has authorized the CIA to conduct covert operations inside Venezuela. Can I ask a question, Joan?
Is it?
Why exactly is it that he's announcing this? What's the meaning of covert? I mean, maybe somebody asked him a question about it, but okay, so hey, Venezuela, we're going to be doing covert operations inside your country.
Yeah.
The president is also weighing carrying out land operations in the country. We've taken out, how many is it now? Five of these, drug-carrying boats that we just keep taking these guys out and killing a bunch of Venezuelans. They say, according to the Associated Press, the acknowledgement of covert action in Venezuela by the U.S. spy agency comes after the U.S. military in recent weeks has carried out a series of deadly strikes against alleged drug smuggling boats in the Caribbean. U.S. forces have destroyed, they say, at least 5 boats since early September, killing 27. And 4 of those vessels originated from Venezuela. This is what the president has to say about those boats, because killing those evildoers on the boats and destroying those boats, it's actually saving American lives.
Well, I don't want to tell you exactly, but we are certainly looking at land now because we've got the sea very well under control. We've had a couple of days where there isn't a boat to be found. And that, I view that as a good thing, not a bad thing. But we had tremendous amounts coming in by boats, by very expensive boats. They have a lot of money, very fast, very expensive boats that were pretty big. And the way you look at it is every boat that we knock out, we save 25,000 American lives. So every time you see a boat and you feel badly, you say, wow, that's rough. It is rough, but if you lose 3 people and save 25,000 people, these are people that are killing our population.
Yep.
Every boat is saving 25,000 lives, and you can see it. The boats get hit, and you see that fentanyl all over the ocean. It's like floating in bags. It's all over the place, and it's a tremendous. We're saving tremendous amounts of lives.
And I say love it. 6 o'clock, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hello there, 6 o'clock now. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. We start with weather. Right now it's 61 degrees, fair skies, and we'll have another beautiful sunny day. Our high topping off at 81 degrees. This weekend we do have some stormy weather moving in. Stefano tells us it begins on Saturday night through Sunday morning, and it could be a little rough around here, but there's a very low risk of serious weather or severe weather. We'll keep you updated on that as we get closer. In the news, a Williamson County football coach who once played for the University of Tennessee has been arrested after he tried to pay $120 for sex with an underage girl. Channel 4's Amanda Hara.
Herman Graham was arrested yesterday afternoon during a sting in Nashville. Centennial High School in Williamson County told parents that he's been fired from his coaching position and is on leave without pay from his teaching job.
Police say that Herman Graham had replied to an ad and then traveled to a Nashville hotel where he was greeted by police. Herman Graham played football professionally, too, for Baltimore, Seattle, and Green Bay. 2 other men were also caught up in that sting. 14 of the 16 people still missing in the explosion at Hickman County Explosives Plant, AES, have now been identified. And the work is not over as officials continue searching for the cause of that deadly explosion.
It wouldn't surprise me at all if we're not standing right back here in 2 months. It's how big and how massive this scene is.
That's Humphreys County Sheriff Chris Davis there. He says they'll be continuing the work on that scene, even though there might be some wet weather this weekend. Now, Davis says last night's press conference will be the last one for the foreseeable future. An Arkansas man who is facing murder charges is now running for sheriff. ABC's Faith Abube.
It was a little over a year ago when Arkansas father Aaron Spencer says he shot and killed his daughter's alleged abuser.
I'm the father who acted to protect his daughter when the system failed.
On October 8th, 2024, Spencer says his 14-year-old daughter was missing from her room. So he jumped into his car and searched the area until he says he spotted her in the back seat of 67-year-old Michael Fossler's car.
Now, Fossler had been out on bail after being accused of dozens of sexual abuse counts involving Spencer's daughter. Spencer rammed Fossler's car and then he shot him during a struggle. Now, Spencer has pleaded not guilty to second-degree murder charges, but he goes on trial in January. That'll be a month before voting begins in that sheriff's race. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. We've got futures all pointing up this morning as earnings season continues. This morning, we've got Dow futures up 167, NASDAQ futures gaining 123, S&P futures are plus 23. That's the latest news. We've got traffic and weather ahead. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. .40 on the eastbound side this morning before Old Hickory Boulevard West, exit 199. That's a crash. The right shoulder is blocked off, and the traffic center is telling us there may actually be two separate crashes in that area this morning. Getting slow on westbound 24 as you're approaching the Laverne area all the way through Nashville, and it looks like 65 is in pretty good shape so far this morning. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.605 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super Text line is open at 615-737-9986. All right, there's a lot of talk about the Voting Rights Act from 1965, which right now is in front of the Supreme Court, specifically Section 2. Now, you're going to hear a lot of talk from the Democrats and, they're trying to suppress the vote, all of these things. Hans von Spakovsky is going to join us at 7:35, and he's going to break all of this down for us. But the bottom line on all of this is that this could be very, very good for the Republicans. Now, remember the Voting Rights Act. What it does is it bans racial discrimination in voting. And at issue right now is Section 2 that bans voting practices or procedures that discriminate based on race or color. Now, here's what's going on with the Voting Rights Act. There's a lawsuit that claimed that black voters in Louisiana had their voting power diluted due to redistricting by Republicans. Now, in the state of Louisiana, they have 33% of the population, and they had only one majority black district. Now, they'll say it's because of redistricting. So then there was a lawsuit in 2022 that did force a second district based on race. Louisiana complied, and that second district was formed. But the lawsuit based on it did continue, and it is now in front of the Supreme Court. At issue is that this second district was formed based on race, and that was, of course, at the order, really, of that earlier lawsuit from the lower courts. So now that has gone all the way up to the Supreme Court. Now, if ultimately I'm just going to say the Democrats, if the Democrats end up losing this lawsuit, well, then at the end of the day, Republicans could get, as I said, 19 additional seats across the country. This was Laura Ingraham last night. She had Eric Schmidt on, and Eric Schmidt, in case you don't know, he's a former attorney general, and now he is a senator out of the state of Missouri.
This district would not exist at all without the 2022 court case forcing it to happen.
Right. They had a 5-1 map. The court then made them kind of go back into a 4-2 map. And this case is a very important case because I think it'll come down 5-4, 6-3 just based on the alignment. But basically, you can't use race as a reason to have a congressional district. I mean, this sort of gets back to this very important idea in this country, just like you're not guaranteed the result of somebody who is of your race or of your religion. You vote in this representative republic for people. And I think the court is either going to strike down the Voting Rights Act or maybe a middle ground would be something.
No, the middle ground. You know what the middle ground always ends up doing? Creating more confusion and more litigation.
Well, right. But I think Roberts is that swing vote. But he's already said in a previous case, in the Harvard case, we need to stop divvying up this country by race. So I'm pretty confident that the Voting Rights Act will probably be thrown out here.
So, again, not to belabor the point, but if that happens, this is going to be huge news for the Republicans. Now, here's the other thing. Is that what the Republicans are doing is they're using the law to their political advantage. And there's nothing wrong with that because you know darn right well that the Democrats would do the same thing if they had the opportunity. So I'm all for it. I don't have any problem with this whatsoever. Louisiana Republicans argue that this sort of racial gerrymandering is actually unconstitutional under the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th and 15th Amendment. Now, that protects voting rights regardless of race. Here's more from Eric Schmidt.
Discriminate on the basis of race. And if you want to get rid of discrimination based on race, you should stop discriminating based on race. And I think that's what this case is going to come down to. But the Democrats know the reason why they're kicking and screaming here is they know it means potentially 19 seats are drawn like this. I think a lot of these kind of institutional ways that the Democrats protected these majorities, using race as that cudgel, are probably going to go away. And we're going to have districts that, again, are complying with the constitutional principle that you shouldn't discriminate based on race.
Yeah, that is, again, Eric Schmidt. And the Democrats are absolutely freaking out. Now, if the Supreme Court ends up siding with the Republicans and they ban race, they ban race-based gerrymandering, they could redraw the maps in states all across the country in time for the 2026 midterm elections. That could then, again, add up to 19 Republican House seats. So if they can do this by 2020, and I think they're going to, I'm assuming here in the next several months, they're going to decide this case. then all of these maps could be redrawn in time for the 2026 midterm elections. The timing, I think, is going to be interesting. I'll get more from Hans von Spakovsky at 7:35. But yeah, this could have an impact across the country, of course, because if the Voting Rights Act goes away, then that gerrymandering based on race does indeed go away. And again, not to belabor the point, but the hue and cry of the Democrats is going to be, oh, they're going to be screaming about Republicans trying to suppress the vote. But the Constitution is supposed to be, and you heard Eric Schmidt talk about this, the Constitution is supposed to be colorblind related to the electoral policy. So this would be in line with the 14th and 15th Amendment. Now, Ketanji Brown Jackson, apparently she had a line of questioning regarding this whole thing yesterday that is raising a lot of eyebrows. And Joan, did you have that audio?
I'm
where
I almost have it. It's going to take me a minute.
Ketanji Brown, I saw this all over yesterday. You have the Twitter machine, and it's going crazy because she is out there during the questioning yesterday, and she says, "You've got to trust me on this." And that's the quote, "You've got to trust me." And I'm sorry, but nobody trusts Ketanji Brown Jackson. And one of the things that I'm going to ask Hans von Spakovsky about is the other Supreme Court justices and their attitude towards Ketanji Brown Jackson, because I think that if there's one thing that legals will tell you is that she's just not very smart when it comes to, being a Supreme Court justice. I mean, that's one of the things. There was, and we played this a while ago, there was a big, long audio piece. It was like, as we call in the business, a supercut. There is a supercut of Ketanji Brown Jackson saying, "I don't know," or "I don't understand." I mean, it was like dozens and dozens and dozens of times. And by the way, this is falling, as you can imagine, this related to the Voting Rights Act. This is falling along party lines, if you will. You've got the liberals on the court, and they are, of course, obviously with the Democrats in this case. And you've got the conservatives. They're obviously with the Republicans. And you've got Chief Justice John Roberts, who is also siding with the Republicans. And as you heard Eric Schmidt say, John Roberts, he has said in the past that he does not like this race-based gerrymandering, no matter who benefits. Coming up, it is 6:15 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We'll get that Ketanji Brown Jackson audio for you and a whole lot more straight ahead. Also, by the way, the latest on the Young Republicans controversy. Details again straight ahead. 6:15, time to check the roads on WTN. All right, thank you. 6:15, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. As far as your weather for today, it's going to be sunny and a high of 80 degrees. Appreciate you listening to Super Talk 99.7 WTN. One of the things, and I know that we all heard everything there was to say about the Young Republicans controversy. This was a big topic of conversation yesterday. It remains a big conversation today. One of the things, and you knew this was going to happen, right? You knew that this was going to happen, where the Democrats were going to try to overplay their hand on this story. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the story, I've got some video coming up. If you're unfamiliar with this story, yesterday Politico had a piece out where they exposed all of these Telegram messages. Telegram is a messaging app. And you had some leaders in the Young Republicans organization, and they're leaders in various states across America. But they had a lot of jokes, and they had a lot of off-color jokes, and they had a lot of verbiage that I would say was unacceptable. Now, other people are saying that it's not a big deal, whatever. They were using the N-word. They were calling rape epic. They had a lot of jokes about lynching and slavery and gas chambers. Now, part of what this has done is that it has caused a divide amongst conservatives, because you have some conservatives that are saying, and these are young guys. I mean, but they are grown-A adults. I mean, I want to make sure you understand that these are guys I think they're all in their 20s. And honestly, they should know better. And and there's going to be some people that are going to disagree with me, and that's fine. That's what makes the First Amendment what it is. But here's my issue. Not only is using that kind of language in text messages or anytime stupid, but just from a strategy standpoint, to put yourself, and I would say this to the young Republicans who did this, to put yourself in a position where you could lose everything was just dumb. And so you've got to ask the question, okay, then what in the world were you thinking? They even said, according to Politico, and I do realize that it's a hit job, but a number of things can be true. It could be a hit job. And these text messages, some could have been taken out of context. We talked about that yesterday. These guys that were engaged in all of this, they do say that, that they were taken out of context, or some of these were taken out of context. That could be true as well. But, I mean, all of them? Because there's like thousands of them.
Okay, I got it.
I've kind of already moved on, Joan.
Oh, man,
I gave up.
I hate to let you down.
Well, so 5 minutes ago, I called on Joan for some Ketanji Brown Jackson. Just so you know, we're behind the scenes. I'm like, Joan, do we have the Ketanji Brown Jackson audio? And it's like, I'm working on it. Okay. So then I finally decided to move on. And now 5 minutes later, she says, hey, I've got the audio of Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Well, she was getting her breakfast ready.
Oh, that's clearly far more important than supporting the host.
It's not?
All right.
It's the most important meal of the day.
So I'll tell you what, I'll send it to you, and then you can play this later on with Hans von Spakovsky.
Okay.
Because I have to go through his name so slowly, I can't say it that way.
Yeah, very good. Well, it took me years to learn how to say it. So, but yeah, go ahead and send it, John. Okay. Thank you. But I want to play a piece of audio for you. This was on CNN, and again, true to form, they are trying to say all white people say these kinds of things.
I'm a white woman that has lived in a red state my entire life. And I can tell you, when I'm around white people, they test the racist water.
Shut up. Shut the hell up. Because now you just sound silly. See, this is the thing. Here I am as a conservative saying, you know what? You left yourselves vulnerable, guys, and you said all of this in message knowing that it could eventually be leaked. You even said that in the messages. And so here I am as a conservative, and I got some pushback yesterday because I criticized these guys for being stupid and dumb. But now you've got these yahoos on the left trying to make this into all white people. Because that's what this nincompoop on CNN said. All white people.
I'm a white woman that has lived in a red state my entire life. And I can tell you when...
Does this make her a Karen? Is this a Karen, this woman?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm around white people. They test the racist water.
I think what she just said is racist. Isn't it racist? Because she literally said all white people. I'm around white people, and they tend to, whatever she said, push racial boundaries. Or whatever it is. So she's the one being racist, too.
They tested on people like you all.
Wow. She's talking to a black person. They test it, she said. Who is this woman?
All the time. And they'll try to say off-color things. I put my hand up. It absolutely happens. And
can I ask you a question? Like super texters? Because I'm a white guy. I'm just going to be absolutely honest here. Joan, Sam, when was the last time a white person came up to you and just started throwing down a whole bunch of off-color jokes? Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I couldn't tell you the last time somebody came to me as a white guy and just started, spewing a whole bunch of off-color jokes as a white person. Yet this woman is claiming that it happens all the time to her. I mean, and listen, maybe I'm unique. in my experience as a white guy, that I don't have all these other white people coming up and telling me all off-color jokes. Does that ever happen to you, Sam?
I mean, it happens, but that's because I guess with my generation and some others, we understand there's a difference between actual hateful racism and what we call social racism, where we, what do you call a bench full of white guys?
I don't know.
The NBA. Because they don't play.
Okay.
Stuff like that. Like that's...
Yeah.
It's different than outright being like the young Republicans.
Right.
So, it's nuanced. Per your definition, I would say off-color jokes to a degree. Yeah. One of my best friends is Hispanic. We make all sorts of jokes about our different upbringings and things. But that's...
But she is trying to make it seem like...
It's hateful.
It's hateful.
Yeah. And it's not.
It's nuanced, as you say.
Yeah, which is something the Democrats love to say about just about everything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's the nuance on it that you don't get. So it's social understanding, knowing time and place, because there are immutable characteristics we can't change about ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And there's cultural things that are funny that are appropriate to make fun of. I love my Caucasian family and friends.
Right.
99% of them cannot dance. That's a fact.
Joan, how about you?
Nope.
Never happens to you?
No.
So I think maybe it's a generational thing, but again, there's a difference between what this random white person on CNN is saying about all white people, and what Sam is describing, which is good-natured jokes amongst each other. I used to have a black friend. He and I used to throw black-white jokes around all the time, but it was all in the give and take of a friendship.
Exactly. You don't just go up to someone on the street and start making these kind of remarks. It's about having your own microculture between you and your friends and your family and the things that...
Yeah, it's camaraderie.
Exactly, that you deem appropriate within your bubble.
And that is, in my opinion, that is different than what was going on in this text chat on Telegram.
You're fortunate that maybe you haven't
I'm a different
experienced
generation.
this room.
Can I just say, literally this August,
Listen to this.
a white person said the N-word in front of me.
The vice president.
All right, so there you go.
Boy, do I have something to tell her about Nick Fuentes.
Dun, dun, dun. Anyway, moving right along. Hey, by the way, I would love to know, so super texters, let me know. Are you, because, again, this white woman is saying, every day I got some other white people trying to say racist things to me. And I don't believe that happens. Joan and I, that has not been our experience. And I would love to know from the YouTube chatters as well. What are you thinking, folks in YouTube chat? Does that ever happen to you? Because I'm calling BS on this is what I'm saying. I'm calling BS. We got a lot more straight ahead. It is 6:25. Time to check the, nope. It is 6:25 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Joan has the news coming up at 6:30. And Joan, what do we have coming up next?
Yeah, the Supreme Court appears to be ready to limit the effects of the Voting Rights Act. And we've got some audio on that coming up as well. That's coming up here at 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. Dan Mandis here. I want to tell you about my friends at Vision for Life. Dan Mandis here, and it is truly life-changing. Vision correction surgery from Vision for Life. Like many of you, I thought that all vision surgeries were the same. I believed that everything was just LASIK. But after doing my research, I learned that Vision for Life offers a variety of advanced procedures tailored to each patient's unique needs. Now, Dr. Horn doesn't just restore your vision, he restores your confidence and your freedom. Freedom from glasses and contacts, and yes, those pesky struggles like driving at night or reading small print. Now, I did go to Vision for Life for my vision correction surgery. If you're thinking about it, give these folks a call. They're going to walk you right through it. That phone number, 615-436-2020, 615-436-2020. Find them online anytime. As always, tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out. Visionforlife.com. That's visionforlife.com. 627, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk. Mark Spain Real Estate. Skip the hassles of a traditional home sale and sell your home quickly with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. No showings, no open houses, and no stress. You know, I always recommend Mark Spain Real Estate because I know that they are going to sell your home hassle-free with a strong all-cash offer. As a matter of fact, Mark Spain Real Estate is the #1 most reviewed real estate company in America. They've got over 13,000 five-star reviews. You can trust my friends to sell your home fast and for maximum profit and limited hassle. This is part of the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. You know, there's a reason why they've been ranked on the Inc. 5000 list of the fastest growing companies in America for now the 8th year in a row. They do respond fast, and yes, they are one of the most experienced real estate teams in Nashville. So call them, tell them Dan told you to reach out at 855-299-SOLD, 855-299-SOLD. Find them online anytime at markspain.com to get your no-obligation guaranteed offer today on your home. That's markspain.com and start packing.
Good morning. It is now 6:30, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. We're looking at 61 degrees right now, fair skies. Today's forecast is for sunshine and 81 degrees. Stefano DiPietro tells us that there could be some stormy weather that moves in Saturday night into Sunday morning. Keep it here on Super Talk 99.7. We're going to continue tracking those storms. He said there's a low possibility that there will be severe weather involved with these storms. In the news, as protests against President Trump and his administration immigration policies grow, more law enforcement agencies are partnering with ICE to help pick up and detain undocumented immigrants.
A program called 287G. City, county, and state law enforcement agencies agreed to provide people and logistical support to immigration and customs enforcement. And it can be lucrative.
We were offered $25 million to be a part of 287G.
Says Dallas Police Chief Daniel Como.
And we said absolutely no. turned it down.
184 agencies in Texas and the state DPS itself have said yes. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
The Supreme Court appears to be poised to change how voting districts are designed. In arguments this week, the conservative justices signaled they don't interpret Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act the same way as has long been held.
Section 2 of the act has long been a guardrail against states diluting the influence of voters of color by packing them into districts or breaking communities apart. When a court found Louisiana's map violated Section 2, the state redrew the map with an eye on race to create a second majority black district. A group of non-black voters sued, arguing that was unconstitutional. The court's conservative majority today appeared sympathetic.
ABC's Devin Dwyer reporting there. Justices Clarence Thomas, Sam Alito, and Neil Gorsuch appeared inclined to bar virtually any use of race in redistricting. They suggested that race-conscious district lines might be unconstitutional. That is the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. 6:33, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. WTN, Dan Mandis. How do I depend on Xfinity? Well, let me count the ways. I've got a lot riding on my rock-solid internet from Xfinity. As far as Riker goes, of course, homework and gaming. Amy, working all day long from home. And, of course, yours truly, always prepping, always doing shows from my basement as well. As a matter of fact, next week, I'm going to be doing Red Eye Radio out of the basement studio, courtesy of my friends at Xfinity. And by the way, if something does go wrong, they can make it right with 24/7 customer service for whenever you need it. And, you know, with Riker in the house, he is 11. It is critical that we are able to check out exactly what he's watching and exactly what he's doing. And yes, with Xfinity, you can. Now, you can depend on these folks. So check them out today, online anytime. It is Xfinity.com, 1-800-XFINITY, or stop by a store today. Remember, Xfinity.com, 1-800-XFINITY, or stop by a store today. Dan Mandis here, 634 in Nashville's Morning News. What if you could pull up to $500,000 in cash out of your home and drop your mortgage rate to 4.99% APR? Think about it. Now, right now at Loan Pronto, they can make that happen. They've got the lowest rates in 3 years. Now, with Loan Pronto's rapid equity loan, you can get your cash in as little as 3 days, pay off all of those high-interest credit cards, and yes, even skip your next 2 house payments. Now, one client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours, paid off their debt, paid off a couple of car loans, and yes, saved $2,100 a month. One call, life changed. There's no wait, really. No hard credit pull up front. You probably won't even need an appraisal. Just fast, easy cash from your home's equity. Now, rates are at a 3-year low, so you should act right now. Call them, Loan Pronto, 615-499-5780. Find them online at loanpronto.com for your free instant home appraisal. See how much cash you can get today. Again, that phone number, 615-499-5780, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781. On approved credit, visit nmlsconsumeraccess.org.
So we have, an accident in Antioch this morning on the westbound side of 24. It's before Hickory Hollow Parkway exit 60. Also a crash in the HOV lane on 24 westbound in Glencliff. This is past Bridley Parkway South. And Bellevue 40, the eastbound lanes at Old Hickory Boulevard West. There's a crash. The right shoulder is blocked off. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.637, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends. Hope you are doing well. Yeah, I don't think that the Democrats can help themselves. You know, Joan, we were talking earlier, and this is a conversation from yesterday. And as usual, the Democrats are way overplaying their hand, talking about these young Republicans just very quickly. They're making way too much out of this. And as a guy who yesterday came out and said, yeah, you know what, these young Republicans with all of these text messages, honestly, they clearly lacking in good judgment. And yeah, they have to take some responsibility. And I did say that they are saying that they have been taken out of context and manipulated, deceptively doctored, all of that. So I really have no idea. They did say within the text messages, man, if these ever get leaked, we're screwed. So my advice would be that if you ever feel like maybe you're doing something that if it ever got out, you would be screwed, well, then maybe stop doing it.
Number one advice, legally speaking, don't do the criming on tape/on record.
It's exactly right. That is exactly right. But here's the thing, though, is that for the left, again, they are overplaying their hand, especially when they have nothing to say about the AG candidate, Democrats, for Attorney General in Virginia that we've been talking about for a couple of weeks now, this Jay Jones. Did you hear what Tim Kaine had to say? Need some video. This is Tim Kaine. He was on with Jake Tapper, and Jake Tapper is calling out the hypocrisy. If you don't know what's going on with this Jay Jones in Virginia, he had put in a text message that he would like to see not only his political enemy killed, shot and killed, but also his two kids. And so now you've got all of these Democrats who refuse to pull their endorsement of this Jay Jones. He's still in the race. I guess there's a big debate that is going on in Virginia tonight, as a matter of fact. I cannot wait to hear what Jay Jones has to say for himself, especially when it comes to all of this. But I want to play this from Tim Kaine. This is Tim Kaine on with Jake Tapper talking about the hypocrisy of the left criticizing these young Republicans when they've got nothing to say about Jay Jones.
So you have condemned what Jones wrote in those text messages, but and there are no Democratic officials in Virginia who have called for Jones to drop out of the race. And Republicans are seizing on that as a political opportunity and basically saying, hey, Senator Kaine, you don't have the moral high ground here. What do you think of that?
Well, and look, the Republican gubernatorial candidate in Virginia has said some vile things, and we haven't called on her to drop out of the race. The voters are going to make this decision.
What is the Republican said? I don't think she said anything vile. I have not heard of anything vile that has been said from the Republican gubernatorial candidate. Not one thing. Sears. What is her name in Virginia?
Winsome Earl
Winsome.
Sears.
Yeah, Winsome Sears. Can you Google that? Has Winsome Sears said anything vile? I don't believe that she has, but whatever. I mean, we'll find out if she has said anything vile. Tim Kaine is calling that out. I would think that if
I think it's about her stance on gay marriage.
Oh, whatever. What has she said? That gay marriages marriage should be between a man and a woman?
Basically, so in the debate, she declared that opposing gay marriage and firing Virginians for being gay is not discrimination. But obviously, that's taken completely out of context.
But see, here's the thing, though. That is a policy initiative. That is part of her platform. That is how she feels about a politician. Oh, my Lord. I wish I had Tim Kaine on the phone right now, because that has nothing to do with what Jay Jones said, where he literally wanted to kill children.
It's not violent. It's based on her belief that marriage is between a man and a woman because it procreates and furthers society and life. Mm-hmm. Whereas, I'm not opposed to people of the same sex being married and even adopting. Granted, there's some track records of things that haven't gone over so well in that aspect, and I'm not saying heterosexual couples are perfect either. But
but here's the thing, though. There's a difference between policy, which is what Winsome Sears was talking about, and
killing kids.
Jay Jones and killing kids.
Well, and look, the Republican gubernatorial candidate in Virginia has said some vile things, and we haven't called on her to drop out of the race. The voters are going to make this decision. The Jay Jones texts were abhorrent and they are indefensible, but I also have known Jay Jones for 25 years, and I put that knowledge on a scale, and it weighs more than one really indefensible set of texts.
There were actually a couple of they were a couple of set of text messages. So again, the hypocrisy is abundant here when it comes to the Republicans. And when you look at all of this, there seems to be a number of things that can be true, right? And we'll talk about that coming up next. I can't be late for traffic. It is 6:45. Time to check the roads on WTN.
Glencliff, 24 westbound past Bradley Parkway South. Accident moved to the left shoulder. Bellevue, 40 eastbound before Old Hickory Boulevard West. 2 separate crashes blocked the right shoulder. No problems on 65 or 440. I'm Christy O'Brien.
Very good. As far as the weather goes, it's going to be a nice day today, sunny, a high of 80 degrees. Appreciate you listening to Super Talk 99.7. Now, remember Jay Jones, again. He also texted that he wanted to urinate on the graves of his political enemies, right? He also texted and has said, according to the New York Post and others, that he felt like maybe if more police officers got shot, they would stop shooting police officers. And so he has just said some vile and abhorrent things. And these young Republicans, they said what they said. And I said that is lacking in good judgment for a number of different reasons. But, it's interesting because the pearl clutching on the left, it makes me just want to say, you know what? I could give a crap what you say. Like yesterday, when I talked about this, I was like, you know what? This is bad. Bathroom humor, wrong, lacking in judgment. You put your party in peril by doing this. And, over and done. I mean, this is just bathroom humor, again, at its worst. But when you look at how the Democrats are reacting to this in light of the whole Jay Jones thing, I just believe that it is ridiculous. So there is a great moment. There's a great moment yesterday online where you had the Democrats and Abigail Spanberger, and they called on Winsome Sears to denounce these kids. Now, I keep calling them the kids. They're adults. Renounce or denounce these adults, the young Republicans. And so Winsome Sears said, oh, yeah, this is easy. This is not a problem whatsoever. And she denounced them. And then she said, now, what about you, Abigail Spanberger? And nothing to say, Abigail Spanberger, nothing to say about Jay Jones. So the more that this goes on, the more I would say to the Democrats, you've got to stop trying to make political hay out of this. Because you can be a conservative like me and say, yeah, guys, this was, and there, by the way, there's one female in here as well, but this was a really dumb thing to say or do or put in text for a number of different reasons. So, yeah, you do lack the proper judgment to be in charge of anything, to be perfectly honest with you. But when the Democrats take it and run with it, then they lose all credibility, especially when you look at what is going on in Virginia. Now, the crazy thing is Milo Yiannopoulos. Now, you folks know Milo Yiannopoulos, right? The accusation is that this Gavin Wax was the turncoat who forced another member to share the chat logs with Politico and threatened to end this guy's career if he didn't. And so you've got all these people now that were involved in this. They have now lost their jobs. They've had jobs pulled back. I mean, the whole thing. And, you know, one of the things, and I'm a big supporter of J.D. Vance, a huge supporter of J.D. Vance. And he said, you know, young adults say stupid things. I absolutely agree with that. But here's how sinister this goes. Wax also apparently helped Politico with the framing of the story to target his enemies within the Republican Party, within the Young Republicans. And also, as I said yesterday, these are like, I don't know, 8 or 9, maybe 10 Republicans within the Young Republicans. That clearly does not represent all 15,000 members of the Young Republican Party. It just doesn't. And now there are people that are saying, Milo Yiannopoulos, by the way, he is accusing this Wax of introducing drugs and prostitution into the New York GOP. This is getting really nasty.
Get him out. Throw him out into the coat.
That's exactly
Don't
right.
Give him that coat. No coat.
Good luck finding another job within the Republican Party, Wax. But, you know, again, a lot of things can be true. Wax betrayed the Republicans. A small group of Republicans had some really stupid texts. Some could have been taken out of context. It was obviously a hit piece with some parts truth and some parts taken out of context. And the Republicans can take advantage of this, and this is the most important part. The Republicans can take advantage of this by redirecting the attention to Jay Jones. So I would say this, Democrats, if this is what you want to do, if you want to keep on keeping on talking about the Young Republicans, absolutely. I'll do this every single day.
I'm happy to compare a text chat to a attorney general candidate running for office openly saying how happy he would be to shoot and kill a family.
Well, and also let's not forget, and I realize we've all been saying this, I believe, this something I spoke about extensively yesterday as well, but y'all have been openly cheering the assassination of Charlie Kirk. You barely batted an eye when you had Donald Trump and the attempted assassinations twice. The man was shot in the head.
Oh, the anger from people who, you couldn't have aimed a little more to the right.
How many times did we hear that?
Yeah, the same people that were angry that Ruth Bader Ginsburg died.
And by the way, can I ask a question? What is worse? Some stupid, idiotic bathroom humor in private text messages regarding, you know, Nazis and Hitler and so forth, perhaps taken out of context, or an entire political party calling the other political party Nazis and Hitler openly? Which is worse? Which, of course, leads to the violence against Republicans. It ain't that hard. It's really not that hard, folks, is it? Joan, there's nothing hard about this, is there?
Nothing hard at all.
Like, I believe that if the Democrats want to keep it going, I think absolutely. Let's go ahead and just keep it going. They want to keep going after the Young Republicans. Okay, then we can compare these 8, 9, 10 Young Republicans to literally almost the entire Republican Party, Democrat Party, siding with Jay Jones and calling Donald Trump Hitler and calling Republicans Nazis. We can keep going. I don't want to because I'm bored of the topic. I'm sure you folks are too. 6:52, Joan, what's coming up in the news?
Coming up here, Metro councilperson, let's call her councilperson, has some suggestions for homeowners who are still really upset about their new tax bills. Also, a judge has once again stopped President Trump in his tracks as he tries to finish out his policies. That's coming up here at 7 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
these individuals that were responsible for the Russia hoax feel some kind of punishment. And I pray that they do.
Chris Hand Show, today from 9 a.m. to noon.
And streaming on the Supertalk 99.7 WTN app.
6:53, Dan here. Want to tell you about my friends at Vision for Life. They are celebrating 20 years of 2020. Since 2005, Dr. Jeff Horn has provided thousands of patients 20/20 or better vision. Dr. Horn's expertise and dedication have made him a leader in cataract, LASIK, and other vision correction surgeries. Now, you know that Vision for Life and Dr. Horn, he is my doctor, and this is my place where I went for my vision correction surgery. They did great work on me. I'll be honest, really happy with what they've done with my eyes. And if you're considering vision correction surgery, you've got to check him out as well. Dr. Horn's commitment to providing the best possible patient experience, in addition to the most advanced technologies in vision correction, have made Vision for Life one of the premier vision correction centers, not only in Nashville, not only in America, but the world. So check him out today. Tell him Dan Mandis told you to reach out. 615-436-2020. 615-436-2020. Find him online anytime, visionforlife.com, visionforlife.com. It is spooky season, but friends, don't be tricked. Let the home experts at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling treat your family right. We're not going to ghost you. Join the Beehive Club for free. Just carve a pumpkin of Buzz the Bee, post it on social media, and tag Busy Bee. And that's all you've got to do. Show off your carving skills and get rewarded. If you need HVAC service, upgrade your thermostat and get a free dryer vent cleaning. Choose from our Honeywell Basic or Go Pro with Wi-Fi control. Plumbing problems? Well, Busy Bee, they'll flush your water heater free with any plumbing repair. That is a treat for your pipes. And if it's time for a new HVAC system, they've got a scary good deal, a free 10-year parts and 5-year labor warranty. That is a $750 value, complete with any system install. Don't let your home be haunted. Call Busy Bee today, where service is sweet and savings are scary good. Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, 615-775-7833, 775-7833, busybeehvac.com. 6:58. Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. All right, so Guy says, super text line says, I hope somebody at the radio station reads this because, and this was 3389, because I think it was Tim Kaine, I just played the audio, who said that he has known Jay Jones for 25 years. Well, Jay Jones is 36, which means that Tim Kaine knew the dude since he was 9.
For a long time. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I wonder, like, I'm honest to goodness, I wonder if that's true. Does Jay Jones come from some sort of a political family that Tim Kaine would know him since the age of 9? And what I would ask is this. Okay, so let's just go down this road, and then I'm going to move on. Let's just go down this road. So if Tim Kaine knew Jay Jones since he was 9 years old, I want to think about this, 9 years old. Well, Jay Jones has been using some abhorrent language in wanting to kill children and wishing, police officers get shot and so forth. So that perhaps is the kind of influence that Jay Jones had as a youngster with Tim Kaine and Democrats, because this is apparently how they think.
I mean, that actually might be true because his father was a American politician.
Fair. Okay.
And Democrat member of the Virginia House of Delegates.
Okay.
And a judge.
Well, there you go.
It's actually been the subject of a New York Post article, one on Fox News, on News Now. So, yeah, this whole notion of Tim Kaine knowing him for so long has really been...
So clearly, some of Tim Kaine's character rubbed off on Jay Jones. It would appear. Whatever. All right, it is 7 o'clock. Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It is 7 o'clock, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Well, once again, a judge has stepped in front of President Trump's authority. Now the fight over firings during this shutdown is being legislated in the courts.
A judge has ordered the administration to immediately halt the mass firings of government employees. The administration yesterday warned up to 10,000 federal workers could be fired. Trump is promising to target programs supported by Democrats.
And they're going to be terminated on a permanent basis.
As the legal battle over the firings plays out, hundreds of thousands of government workers are now going without paychecks.
ABC's Nicole D'Antonio. Now, it's not likely that Democrats will vote to reopen the government before the No Kings protest this weekend. More than 30 demonstrations are planned in Tennessee this weekend, including Nashville, Murfreesboro, and Clarksville. They're being organized by the progressive coalition called Indivisible to challenge President Trump's policies. Dozens of Democrats running for U.S. House seats across the country won't commit to backing Hakeem Jeffries as the House Minority Leader. Axios reports 20 House Democrats say they will not vote for him. 5 say they're likely to vote against him. 57 others have declined to commit. Axios says their survey points to growing frustration with Jeffries' leadership. Tennessee is putting $7.2 million into child care to expand the wages program.
The program offers annual bonuses of up to $7,800 to eligible child care employees who stay in their roles and pursue further education. It's already made a difference. News 2 says turnover among participants is just 16% compared to the national average of 43%. The expansion also raises the income cap for eligibility, now up to $30 an hour, meaning more workers can benefit. This move comes as Tennessee faces a shortage of child care options and recently lost $44.5 million in federal funding. Advocates say the investment is a step toward recognizing child care as essential infrastructure for working families and the economy. Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Metro Councilwoman Courtney Johnston has a suggestion for homeowners who just got their tax bills showing massive increases.
What I would say is the anger and the angst that you feel when you open up that bill, I hope that you feel that in 2027 and vote accordingly.
Davidson County saw a flood of appeals after this year's reappraisal showed a 45% jump in median property values. And then the Metro Council raised the tax rate. adding to the financial pressures. Well, Fox 17 says 2/3 of the 19,000 homeowners who appealed their new property values have been denied. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management. Online at beaconcm.com. Stock futures all pointing upward this morning with the Dow futures plus 97 points. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Smyrna this morning. Make that Sam Ridley Parkway, the westbound lanes at Weekly Lane. Watch for a crash. In Madison, it's on Gallatin Pike North at Liberty Lane that you'll find a crash. And then 24 westbound in Antioch before Hickory Hollow Parkway, exit 60. The right shoulder blocked off by an accident. And Old Hickory Boulevard in Percy Warner Park, that also has a crash at Chickering Road. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.707 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Can I ask a question? Yeah. It's just a rhetorical question, whatever. But have your insurance rates gone up or down in the last few years? Really since Obamacare. But have your rates gone up or down? I will tell you from my own personal experience, mine have gone up. And I don't know a single person who have had their health insurance, if they have health insurance, I don't know a single person who will tell me that their rates have gone down and their coverage has been the same or gone up. I mean, they're just, or gotten better. Like nobody. And I polled my friends and my family and so forth, and there's not one person that have been able to tell me, oh yeah, my insurance rates, they went down and my coverage stayed the same or my coverage got better. It is the exact opposite. And most people who have to, and I know many, because here's the sad thing, folks, when you work in radio, Joan, you know this, Sam, you know this, you work in radio right now, you know a whole lot of people who have lost their jobs.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so now those people have been thrown out into the cold trying to buy health insurance on the exchange, on Obamacare. And it is really expensive. And Obamacare made it worse. Obamacare people, and I know I'm banging the same drum, but Obamacare meant a number of things. Obamacare meant that you could not keep your doctor or keep your plan, right? That happened. If you wanted health insurance or you had to buy health insurance on the exchange, then it was really, and I mean really expensive. It's gotten far more expensive. And it also, and we went through that around here, if you work, over 29 hours, I think it was, then the company has to give you full-time status, health insurance status. And so if you were working, part-time, but you were making 37, 38, hours a week, well, that got cut down to 29. I mean, there's so many different things that Obamacare did to make it harder for Americans to afford health insurance. And the reason why I bring this up is because we now have this battle over Obamacare subsidies, and the Democrats are trying to claim some sort of moral authority because the Republicans are going to allow these Obamacare subsidies to expire when these same Democrats, they were the ones that put it in the bill in the first place to expire in 2025, these subsidies. And here's the thing. My health insurance keeps going up. No Democrat seems to give a crap about my health insurance going up. Nobody, Joan, cares that your health insurance is going up. If you're driving along I-65 or I-24 right now or I-40 and your health insurance is going up, do you think the Democrats give a crap about your health insurance going up? No.
Not one.
No.
They want to make sure that the illegal aliens, their health insurance is free.
It's free, not
or
just
subsidized.
Yeah.
And if you are, somebody who is trying to buy health insurance, it is just really expensive. But if you are a certain type of person in this country, then you get it for essentially free. And
also, if you're living in California and you're an illegal alien, you're going to get your housing for free.
is that not the craziest thing ever?
Like, honestly.
I wanted to highlight the glory days. When Obamacare went into effect, at the time, we had Blue Cross Blue Shield for a family of 5, my parents and 3 kids, myself and my 2 siblings. And our deductible for a single earner with my father was $800. My wife and I, on the mid-grade plan from her job, which she works for a law firm, really good insurance. Our deductible is $12,000.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's open enrollment around here, Joan. I don't know if you know that, but it's open enrollment around here.
Yes.
I have not yet looked at it. I've got to, you know what I've got to do? I've got to have some Dan Grias before I look at it.
Here's...
No, because then it'll go up.
Yeah, if I have some Dan Grias?
Yeah, they'll be like, you're an alcoholic. You're at risk.
You know what? Doing this job, I could use a few more drinks. What are you going to say real quick, Joan?
So my husband worked for UPS for 25 years. He was a package slinger,
Yep.
And we had health insurance through UPS. Now he's now on Medicare because he's over 65. So now the plan came to me, and I still have, this is such a blessing. I still have the same insurance at the same cost, at the same deductible, at all the same limits that I had years and years and years ago.
You're very lucky.
Unbelievably blessed by it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of
many
people that
Yep.
are just asking, okay, so why is it all of these people? And there's a lot of people, and we played that stupid audio of Congressman Lawler and Hakeem Jeffries going back and forth about, the Republicans want to clean up waste, fraud, and abuse within all of that, and the Democrats want to keep the illegal aliens and so forth on it. And so this is going to be an ongoing debate. But the point that I'm making is that for millions of Americans, no one is subsidizing our health insurance. Nobody is subsidizing it.
No, and my point is that American companies need to be able to, and I'm not blaming the companies, but they need to be able to get back to providing that for their workers.
Yeah.
It's the way that it's always been. Like, that's how families maintained their health care, was through the companies you worked for. It was one of the benefits of going to work for a company.
Well, and they're on getting the free or subsidized health care. There are a lot of people that are getting that who are perfectly able-bodied people that should be out there working. And that's sort of the point, is you've got, people like us well, people like me and whoever, a lot of you folks listening, who, you're looking at your health care plan and you're like, my gosh, the taxes that I pay, the money that I'm paying for health insurance, and these people are getting their health care subsidized. And you got a lot of people who are illegal aliens who are getting some sort of medical benefits. It is just frustrating because it's coming out of our tax dollars.
And then you get fined if you didn't have health insurance throughout the year.
Oh, there was that as well.
That's over now.
Yeah, that's over now. But Chad Pergram did a great report on Fox News. I'm going to play this coming up next because he really brings all of this right down to the crux of the issue of the government shutdown. Because remember, all the Republicans want to do is reopen the government to continue the conversation. Remember that. All the Republicans want to do is reopen the government and continue the conversation. It is the Democrats who have shut down the government, the Schumer shutdown, who they've shut it down because they think that this is a winning political message trying to hang this on the Republicans. But I'm telling you, the polling out there shows that people are blaming Democrats. They are blaming Chuck Schumer. I got a lot more on this straight ahead. 7:15, time to check the roads on WTN. Far as your weather today, sunny and a high of 80. This was on Fox News talking about the shutdown.
Good morning. Obamacare is called the Affordable Care Act, but many Republicans believe it's the Unaffordable Care Act. The GOP says demands by Democrats to subsidize the program underscores problems with Obamacare.
Exactly, and that's the reason why they needed to add the additional subsidies in the first place. This was not because of the pandemic. This was because Obamacare is a failed product in the first place. And they used that as an excuse in order to add additional federal dollars in.
Yep, that was Senator Mike Rounds.
Democrats say 22 million Americans will experience spikes with health care premiums unless Congress coughs up the money. Democrats say those funds are essential to offset the cost of Obamacare.
Can I ask a question? Can somebody offset my health care? Like, hey, Sam, Joan, can you guys help offset my health care costs, please?
No, because you got an expensive procedure coming up, buddy, and I'm strapped for cash.
Yeah. All right. So, Sam, vasectomy jokes never get old. You had something on this, Sam?
So it's just to add to the entire, perspective of things. Healthcare is not a right. It is a service. People go to school. They take out money to pay to be taught life-saving measures and long-term care for people. And I've seen it play out. One of my best childhood friends is Canadian. And I was on the phone with him one night. He'd broken his arm, and he was in an ER in Canada, in his hometown in Saskatchewan. And he sat in the ER with a broken arm, protruding, but it hadn't broken the skin, for 4 hours before he was seen. Because free healthcare, because it's free.
Right.
So there's less incentive to go to medical school. There's less incentive to be employed in the medical industry in Canada. It is only effective in the countries where everybody works, everybody contributes, and for the majority of the people that want to point to the Norwegian countries and the other white, capitalist, semi-social nations, they're very healthy.
Right.
They eat very well, and they exercise, and they do things that keep them out of the hospital.
Part of the conversation, obviously, is one of, okay, so when we have, and look at California. Joan, you were talking about California earlier, where they're giving people, they're paying people's rent, illegal aliens. They're paying their rent or whatever. So, I mean, that serves as a magnet for illegal aliens to come into our country. Now, obviously, if you have borders that are controlled, that keeps that at bay, like Donald Trump has done. But when you look at some of the benefits that people are getting, and realize some of this is controlled at the state level, obviously, and then you have the federal or national issues as well. But, for me, the bottom line is always going to be this when it comes to that. Number one is they're picking winners and losers. Like, I am forced with all of the taxes that I pay and all of the health insurance that I am paying for. And again, it is really expensive. that I am subsidizing other people's health care when I'm paying so much money in taxes. So that's number one. Number two is, okay, so then if these people are getting, and I always say this about subsidies, I always say this about government benefits and so forth. So if they're getting all of these subsidies and they're getting all of these government gimmies, then what inspiration do they have to go out and better themselves, to get a job, to get a full-time job, a good job that offers benefits? If you're subsidizing everything that these folks do, then what impetus do they have to get off the couch? Now, I know that there are truly people who need help, and I totally and completely understand that. That's why the Republicans want to eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse and take care of the people that really need it.
Between 2017 and 2023, federal and state governments spent $27 billion on emergency Medicaid for non-citizen immigrants.
There you go.
And that's not even accounting for these state-level programs like California and New York.
John Fetterman, I don't know if you've heard this, but John Fetterman, he was at the Kennedy Center, and he spoke about the government shutdown, and he spoke about the impact that it is going to have on the Democrats.
I'm the only Democrat in my family. I grew up in a conservative part of Pennsylvania, and I grew up and I know and I love people that voted for President Trump. But they are not fascists. They're not Nazis. They're not trying to destroy the Constitution and those things. And that's part of another thing. I refuse to call people Nazis or fascists, or I would never compare anybody to Hitler and those things. And now that kinds of extreme rhetoric is going to continue. We're going to be more likely in resulting in extreme kind of outcomes and political violence and doing all these kinds of things like Charlie Kirk. For me, all I could say is like, let people grieve. Give people the space. I'm not going to use that terrible thing and that Pasek assassination to make my argument and try to put out my views. It's like, my God, he's a father that had his neck blown out by a bullet. And now people have forgotten. President Trump was in my state, was shot in the head. And if that could you imagine where our nation would be if he was hit in the same way with Kirk? We really got to turn the temperature down. And we can agree to disagree on these kinds of things. But right now, shutting down the government, I just can't take it that.
Yeah,
I'm the
so John
only Democrat
Fetterman,
in
by
my-
the way, the further away he gets from that stroke, the more sense he makes.
So Axios has an interesting article about him today.
What's that?
And it says top Democrats in Pennsylvania are maneuvering to run against him in the 2028 primary, threatening to tear the party apart. And they list, who those people are that are going after his seat.
I wonder, do you know anybody in Pennsylvania?
Oh, lots.
I wonder how Pennsylvanians feel about John Fetterman.
Yeah. I tend to know people who are conservatives, so I'm
I
just
wonder
guessing.
if he is in the past said that he is not interested in changing parties.
Right, but if they're about to primary him, it would make sense for him to go ahead and change parties.
Didn't he run against Dr. Oz for the same seat?
I don't know if that was Fetterman against Dr. Oz. I don't remember that.
Well,
it may have been.
There was all this
remember.
controversy of his wife kind of shoving him out, having these issues and then having the stroke and everything. And we gave her due heat for that. But at this point, hey, thank you, Mrs. Fetterman, because he's the most rational person in the Democrat Party.
Well, and here's the thing, and I said this. Remember that whole controversy where it was like people were freaking out that he was wearing hoodies inside of the
being disrespectful of the
Capitol.
office. Yeah.
But see, my thing was, okay, so, and I said this at the time, and people got mad at me, whatever, but you know how much in debt we are as a nation? And all those guys were wearing suits. All those women were dressed appropriately. I'm air quoting that. But all those people were, wearing suits or the proper attire.
Yeah.
And they have sent us into $37 trillion, I believe it is, in debt. And so I could give two craps if John Fetterman wears a hoodie because, I mean, the problem ain't the hoodie in Congress, folks. It is 7:23 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. Jones got the news at 7:30. Joan.
A Williamson County football coach out of a job this morning. We'll tell you why coming up at 7:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
You know, I've always wanted to live by the lake. When I retire, that is something that I definitely want to do, is live by the lake. Now, if you've always wanted to live by the lake, maybe a second home, maybe a retirement home, you've got to listen up, because my friends at Tennessee National have a great opportunity for you coming up this Saturday. That's right, this Saturday, Tennessee National Lakefront Resort Golf and Marina Community, they are releasing a brand new phase of lake lots. And so this is your chance, folks. Cottage packages with boat slips, they are starting at $379.9. Home sites with 40-mile views and covered boat slips, they're starting at $99.9. They've got move-in ready homes, and they've got custom builds. They've got lot sizes up to 7 acres. And by the way, when you talk about Tennessee National, 20 minutes outside of Knoxville, they have incredible amenities. You know, this is perfect for retired folks. They got pickleball, they got swimming pools, coffee shops, marina, hiking trails, and a whole lot more. So don't forget, all those great deals are happening this coming Saturday, October 18th. Do not miss out. Call this phone number right now and secure your private tour. 865-408-9992. As always, tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out. Tennessee National, 865-408-9992. TennesseeNational.com. That's TennesseeNational.com. Memories begin here. $7:26 on WTN. Dan Mandis here for my jewelry company, Brentwood Jewelry. Now, if you've got a special occasion coming up and you need a special gift, Brentwood Jewelry is your place to go. I've got a couple of watches now from Brentwood Jewelry. I love them. Now, for the lady in your life, guys, holidays are coming up. Necklaces, bracelets, rings, earrings. For the men, you can get money clips and cufflinks as well. And they do. They've got watches for everyone and every budget. Also, if you've got a family heirloom, maybe it's an old watch that needs repair, maybe it's a ring that needs to be reset, maybe you want to put a diamond in a different ring. Brentwood Jewelry, they can do that for you. They've got great merchandise. They've got terrific prices for every budget. This is a family-owned business. They've been in Middle Tennessee for over 50 years. Brentwood Jewelry is the official jewelry store of my house, and they are here to help you. 7012 Church Street East, located in the heart of Brentwood, just off Franklin Road. Exceptional style, exceptional deals every day for over 50 years. That website, BrentwoodJewelry.com. Wow, such anger and vitriol, Joan, on the super text line.
Really? How come?
Courtney Johnson can kiss my arse, says 1998.
Yes.
So what exactly, I know that you've got some audio from my favorite Metro Council member,
Yes,
Courtney
I do.
Johnson. So what did she say that is bringing such a rebuke?
Here's one thing.
What I would say is the anger and the angst that you feel when you open up that bill, I hope that you feel that in 2027 and vote accordingly.
Now, she was talking about tax bills.
That's what I said yesterday.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, so Democrats, if you're upset with this, I mean, I don't know how many times we have to say the same thing. Elections have consequences. So Democrats, if you voted for Mayor O'Connell, who brought in that higher budget, raised the property taxes, if you voted for Metro City Council, all these Democrats, well, then what do you expect is going to happen? So I don't know why 1998 is so angry at Courtney Johnston. I mean, she's saying the same thing that I said yesterday morning. Elections have consequences. Coming up, we've got Hans von Spakovsky. He is going to go through this controversy, some would say, over the, and again, I'm air quoting this whole thing, the Republicans trying to suppress the vote by killing the Voting Rights Act of 1965. It's a little more complicated than that. We've got Hans von Spakovsky to break it all down. It is next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It is 7:30, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Williamson County football coach and teacher Herman Graham has been fired without pay. Police say he was caught up in a sting yesterday, offering to pay to have sex with an underage girl. When he showed up at the hotel in Nashville, he was greeted by police. He's been arrested. At the White House yesterday, a press conference to announce the results of Operation Summer Heat, the 3-month initiative to crack down on violent crime. FBI Director Kash Patel saying that 8,700 people accused of violent crimes have been arrested. And Attorney General Pam Bondi speaking about the ongoing crackdown in Memphis.
And there was a 70-year-old man arrested as a result of our operation in Memphis who raped a child under the age of 3. That one case makes everything we're doing worthwhile.
In Memphis, federal agents and local police are collaborating. There have been no clashes, as we have seen in Chicago and in Portland. Nashville International Airport says it's not currently running that video featuring Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem.
Democrats in Congress refuse to fund the federal government. And because of this, many of our operations are impacted, and most of our TSA employees are working without pay.
Officials there say they have not received a request to feature that video on screens throughout the airport. But in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, somebody there hacked into the public address system at the airport with pro-Hamas messages.
Turkish hacker Cyber Islam is here. Telegramational Cyber Islam. Free Palestine. Free Palestine.
Video screens also showed disturbing Islamic images and statements such as Israel lost the war, Hamas won. No one's been arrested so far. That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. 7:32, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7, the Wellness Institute of Nashville. I love these folks because they showed me some love years ago. I came in, man, I was riddled with constant back and neck pain, and they fixed me right up with what they are experts in. Spinal decompression therapy, non-surgical spinal decompression. Now that means no surgery, no spinal injections, and no painkillers. That's right. Now, right now, they've got the special going on for October. Listen to this deal. You go in and you pay $12, and you're going to get a comprehensive exam, x-rays if you need them, a well-explained diagnosis from Dr. Kevin Mitchell, and that first treatment, all for just $12. Now, that is huge. So if you've got back and neck pain like I used to have, if you've got sciatica, slipped or bulging spinal discs, herniated discs, spinal stenosis, numbness or weakness in the arms and legs, fingers or toes, well, the Wellness Institute of Nashville can help you like they helped me. $12 is going to get you started. No surgery, no spinal injections, no painkillers. Call them today at 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009. The website, painisbad.com. That's painisbad.com. Dan Mandis here for USS United Structural Systems. I've been telling you for years about USS. They're experts in waterproofing, concrete leveling, and foundation repair. Now, this is a great company. They have helped me several times with my home. That is why I proudly endorse United Structural Systems. As a matter of fact, I was a customer before I was an endorser. I'm one of 30,000 satisfied customers across Middle Tennessee. This is a company that can help you with waterproofing and concrete leveling, foundation repair, just to name a few. Now, they're not going to charge you for any unnecessary repairs, and you won't pay a dime until the work is done and you are a satisfied customer. Now, what I want you to do is go to their website. It is USSTN.com. They've got an entire page dedicated to things that they can help you with to maintain or repair your home. We guarantee our best. Call USS 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855, USSTN.com.
Okay, we have an accident this morning on 24 at Joby Jackson Highway. Let's see, it is on the westbound side. The accident this morning, that's exit 84. The crash reported 24 westbound at Joby Jackson. Now, I'm looking at the cameras now, and it looks like they're down to one lane. They're pushing all the traffic over into one lane as they work on that scene this morning. Also a crash in Midtown at Broadway and 16th Avenue, Madison at Gallatin Pike North at Liberty Lane. Another one on Old Hickory Boulevard in Percy Warner Park at Chickering Road. 24 this morning on the westbound side in Clarksville. Watch it at ML King Parkway. There's an accident at exit 11. And then one more in Inglewood on Gallatin Pike at Briley Parkway. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.737 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends. Appreciate you being here. Always appreciate our friend Hans von Spakovsky joining us from the Heritage Foundation. Hans, I was explaining earlier that once I figured out how to pronounce your name, I always turn to you for really complicated stuff when it comes to the law. And so the Voting Rights Act from the way back in 1965 is now in front of the Supreme Court, specifically Section 2. Now, the left is freaking out about this, and I understand why.
Right.
We'll get to that coming up. You know, they're claiming that Republicans are trying to suppress the vote and so forth. But, you know, this lawsuit in front of the Supreme Court, it's based out of Louisiana, where a couple of years ago, Louisiana, it was forced to come up with a second voting district that effectively, Hans, was based on race, which is a violation of the Constitution. So talk about, is it Calais versus Louisiana?
Yeah, it's Louisiana versus Calais. That's right. And yeah, as usual, Democrats on the left are hysterical. But their claims that, oh my gosh, they're going to gut the Voting Rights Act, all this discrimination is going to return. That is just complete BS. If I can say that. Look, here's what this case is about. It's about federal judges abusing the power of Section 2. Look, what Section 2 says very plainly is it bans racial discrimination in the voting context. Okay, and what happened in Louisiana was they have 6 congressional seats. They redrew them all. They had 1 congressional seat that's a black minority district in which black voters can elect their candidate of choice. And they got sued by black voters represented by the NAACP saying, yeah, but we're 1/3 of the population of Louisiana, so we should get 2 seats. And a Obama judge said, yeah, you're right. Louisiana, you have to draw up a 2nd seat. Well, here's the problem with that. They didn't, Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act only applies if you can show that there's racial discrimination going on. There was no evidence of discrimination. The only thing the judge had was them saying, well, we're 1/3 of the population, therefore we get a 2nd seat. There is a specific bar in Section 2 that says this does not entitle anyone to proportional representation. That is not required in our Constitution. So anyway, Louisiana does it, draws up a 2nd district. They get sued again, this time by non-black voters who say, look, you drew up that 2nd district based on race. That's a violation of the Equal Protection Clause.
Yep.
And you had a 2nd court say, yep, you're absolutely right. This was discriminatory. It violates the Constitution. So Louisiana is stuck between 2 different courts telling them 2 totally different things. That's what this case is about.
One of the things, Hans von Spakovsky is joining us. One of the things you always look at Chief Justice John Roberts and where he's going to fall in all this.
Right.
He is very cynical on this 2nd district that was drawn. They were forced to draw in Louisiana. And he's come out, and it's clear that he will be siding with the conservatives on the court. What does that tell you?
Well, I think it tells me 2 things. One, that he doesn't believe, like the NAACP does, that it's still 1965. I mean, the lawyer who was in there yesterday arguing the case, Janae Nelson, really, she was talking as if it was 1965. She said, I'm almost quoting her, that white Democrats won't vote for black Democratic candidates. Well, that is just patently untrue. And she also said that if they don't have these
Hans, hold on. She said white Democrats will not vote for a black Democrat?
Yes.
That's the most asinine thing I've ever heard.
It is. And she also then said that, well, if they don't create these black majority districts, the blacks won't get elected to the U.S. Congress. Well, the Deputy Solicitor General for the Justice Department, who was there arguing on behalf of the voters who said this was an equal protection claim, pointed out that there are 60 black members of the U.S. Congress. Only 15 of them were elected in majority black districts. So what that woman said is totally untrue. And by the way, there are many black candidates who are Republicans. And that actually points out the real problem with the Voting Rights Act and the way it's been applied. And again, this was brought up by the deputy SG from the Trump Justice Department. He said the problem is judges are failing to distinguish between race and politics. In other words, black candidates will lose in places not because of their race, but because they're Democrats. And
yes.
not, if they were Republican, they'd win. But these judges come in and they say, oh, well, this black Democrat lost, it must be race. When it wasn't race, it was politics. And then they come in and order a race-based remedy. So that's really the big issue here. They're not going to throw out Section 2 like you'll read in the New York Times. What they're going to do, I think, is say you can only apply a remedy if you can show current racial discrimination is going on. By the way, that was another thing the NAACP was pushing was it doesn't matter if there's no current discrimination. If it happened 50 years ago, you still have to remedy it today. And there's no way the Chief Justice is going to agree to that.
No, and this sounds like it's a classic case of, conservatives versus the liberals on the court. But when John Roberts it sounds like he's going to side with the conservatives on this. I want to talk to you coming up next. I got to check traffic real quick. Hans, you've spent time in Nashville, how bad traffic gets. Right. But I want to ask you a couple of things. Number one, I'm going to ask you about Ketanji Brown Jackson because she's getting absolutely blasted after her performance yesterday, and also what the real-life implications will be if ultimately this ends up on the side of the Republicans. So we're going to talk about that coming up next. 7:45, time to check the roads on WTN.
Broadway, an accident at 16th Avenue and Madison. Gallatin Pike, a crash at Liberty Lane. I'm Christy O'Brien.
Sunny today, a high of 80. Hans von Spakovsky from the Heritage Foundation joining us. Okay, so Hans, let's just say that the Supreme Court does side with the Republicans on Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. So ultimately then, what will be the real-life implications of this on the midterm elections?
Well, what it means is that state legislatures aren't going to have to create these black majority districts, which are basically created at the behest of the Democratic Party to ensure that a Democrat is elected, unless they can actually show that the legislature currently has engaged in racial discrimination. And they're just not going to find that. And so, yeah, will seats get shifted? Yeah, they probably will. But seats are being shifted anyway because Democrats are losing their exclusive hold on, for example, Hispanics. You remember in the last presidential election in Texas, for the first time, a majority of Hispanics voted for who? Donald Trump. Not the Democratic candidates. That used to be not the case, certainly. And even black voters, yeah, huge percentage of them still always vote for Democrats, but even that is going down. So they're trying to use the Voting Rights Act to abuse its authority to compensate for the fact that they are basically losing their constituency.
Hans von Spakovsky, let me ask you this, and this is more of a general question, but I'm clearly a novice when it comes to things like the law and judges and all this. But have judges simply lost their way these days? Like, is this a new phenomena where, these judges, and primarily, I will say as a conservative, it seems like these leftist judges that were appointed by Obama and Biden, they seem to be applying the law related to politics and not the Constitution. Is this a new thing, or has this always been the situation?
Well, what I'll tell you is it's worse today than it's ever been. And the reason for that is that if you look at the folks that were nominated by Obama and particularly by Biden, they are the most left-wing ideologues ever put on the federal judiciary in our entire history. And that is why you're getting the kind of decisions we're getting. Can I just give you another quick example of that?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah. You may have seen that, remember, that the Secretary of Homeland Security ended what they call TSP, Temporary Protected Status for Venezuelans. That's something that the president can extend to any group of aliens who can't return to their country, maybe because of a hurricane. That's how Haitians got here. That law says that the decision whether to grant TPS or to end it is entirely within the discretion of the president. Not only that, it has a provision in it saying no federal court no federal court has jurisdiction to review either the granting of this or the termination. And yet, what happened? You had a federal judge out in California tell Nome, you can't end TPS for Venezuelans. You had the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals affirm that. You had, in other words, you had all these judges in California basically ignoring federal law that tells them you don't have any jurisdiction over this and doing it anyway. That's how bad some of these judges are and how bad some of these federal courts have gotten.
Hans, let me ask you this question. Ketanji Brown Jackson, she has been getting blasted on the socials, and folks that know a lot more about the law than I will tell you that she has no business being on the Supreme Court. What is your opinion of Ketanji Brown Jackson and her performance since she became on the Supreme Court?
I think she is the most partisan of the justices. And if you look closely at her questioning in the oral arguments yesterday, she wasn't asking questions as if she was a justice. She was acting as if she was the co-counsel for the NAACP. You could see that in the way she was arguing with the lawyers for the voters in this case, and arguing with the deputy solicitor general. That is not that tells you that she'd already made up her mind about this from a political basis. And the other thing of it was, it's clear from her questions that she thinks using race to draw up political boundaries is something that is good all the time. She sees no constitutional problem with that at all. So she basically believes discriminating in the voting context is perfectly okay as long as you're discriminating in favor of black voters.
All right. You know what? I got a lot of clarity on this. Hans, as always, thank you for the great analysis, and we'll talk to you again soon. It is 7:51 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super text line is open, 615-737-9986, 615-737 WWTN. Got a lot more straight ahead. Dan Mandis here with a great way to increase the value of your home. How about a bathroom upgrade from my friends at Zentex? Now, Zentex, this is a great company. They've got a great deal just for listeners to my show. How about converting your bathtub into a walk-in shower? Now, they can do that. And for listeners to my show, you can get $999 off or 0% interest for 2 years, whatever works best for you, because they want what's best for you, Zentex. Now, they've won awards for ethics from the Better Business Bureau, and last year they were voted one of the best places to work in the construction industry. And as I keep saying, friends, happy employees mean great customer service. Now, remember that deal. You can get $999 off or 0% interest for 2 years, whatever works best for you. And you mentioned WTN. You get a free Kohler toilet with your purchase. Find them online. It is Zentex.com, Zintex. Zentex.com. That's Zentex.com. 7:54 at Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Dan Mandis here for my friends at Contours. Listen, you got the holidays coming up. Don't forget, if you want to slim down for the holidays and feel your best and feel more confident, try a belly buster special from my friends at Contours. Now, the first 10 callers right now gets one of those belly buster specials for $99. That phone number, call right now, 615-236-9960. That is a big discount. 615-236-9960. Get a $99 belly buster special from my friends at Contours. Now, with Contours, they use that cutting edge red light technology to help you lose a couple of inches across the middle. Now, it's not only incredibly unique, it is also effective. Again, that red light technology. If you want to know more about what Contours can do for you, check them out online. They've got a great tutorial on all the things that they can help you with. Their website, contoursllc.com. And don't forget right now, call this phone number, 615-236-9960, 615-236-9960 for Contours. You want to get a belly buster special for $99? Call right now. Take advantage of Contours red light technology. It is unique. It is effective. 615-236-9960, contoursllc.com. All you've got to lose is inches. Hey, you want to hear something funny? Joan, you back from the trip to the little girl's room? Sorry, my bad.
I
you
love
back?
the way my private conversations are,
Oh, it's okay.
broadcast.
That's
yes,
all right.
I am back from the little girl's room.
Okay, very good. So you want to play Fun with Audio with John Fetterman?
Oh, yeah.
So he was asked a question about whether or not Kamala Harris could have come up with a Hamas-Israel agreement like Donald Trump did. Listen.
Do you think Harris could have gotten a deal with Hamas?
Well, I mean, you brought up a good point. I think I was the only Democrat early on to give President Trump credit for the peace deal. Why wouldn't you?
Do you
I mean,
think
that's
Harris could have got.
He's desperately trying not to answer this question.
Well, again, I don't know. She's not the president. But where I'm at right now, it's like, ask any of the hostages or their families. They think President Trump was a hero and he deserves, the kind of deal for that thing. I think that was really a remarkable development.
Do you think Harris could have got him out?
Now, this is Stephen A. Smith.
No. I think it's a silly question.
Oh, and Cuomo. Cuomo says it's a silly question. Why is that a silly question? Hold on.
It's a what? I think it's a silly question. Wait.
It's Bill O'Reilly, by the way.
You agree that it's a silly question? That's why they're clapping. They're clapping because they... Security! Right here.
I think the most important point is just realizing who did it, not hypothetically or anything. I'm saying it's like, here's what happened. And there are actual members of my party that have refused to even acknowledge that this was significant. And that's for me, where it's like, hey, our politics might be different, but this was a significant development. Okay. And now also it's what Israel was able to accomplish. They had to neutralize Hamas, Hezbollah, Houthis, and Iran. And also,
here's the deal. Kamala Harris would not have had the backbone that Donald Trump did to go in there and talk to Qatar the way that they did regarding Hamas and pressuring Hamas. And there's no way she is going to do Israel any favors. So, yes, John Fetterman was correct and is correct. Kamala Harris is certainly not the president, Donald Trump. 8 o'clock on WTN.
Good morning. It's now 8 o'clock, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. A Williamson County football coach who once played for the University of Tennessee has been arrested after he tried to pay $120 for sex with an underage girl, according to police. Channel 4's Amanda Hara.
Herman Graham was arrested yesterday afternoon during a sting in Nashville. Centennial High School in Williamson County told parents that he's been fired from his coaching position and is on leave without pay from his teaching job.
Police say that Herman Graham had replied to an ad and traveled to a Nashville hotel. He was greeted by police there. Herman Graham played football professionally, too, for Baltimore, Seattle, and Green Bay. 2 other men were also caught up in that sting. 14 of the 16 people still missing in the explosion at Hickman County Explosives Plant, AES, have now been identified. And the work is not over as officials continue to search for the cause of that deadly explosion.
It wouldn't surprise me at all if we're not standing right back here in 2 months. Is how big and how massive this scene is.
That's Humphreys County Sheriff Chris Davis. He says they'll be continuing the work on that scene, even though there's going to be wet weather this weekend. Davis says last night's press conference is going to be the last one for the foreseeable future. An Arkansas man facing murder charges is now running for sheriff. Aaron Spencer is his name. He shot and killed a 67-year-old man who had been out on bail after being charged with dozens of sex crimes involving Spencer's daughter. Spencer allegedly killed that man when he caught him with her again.
This campaign isn't about me. It's about every parent, every neighbor, every family who deserves to feel safe in their homes and safe in their community.
Spencer has pleaded not guilty to second-degree murder charges. He goes on trial in January, just weeks before voting begins in that sheriff's race. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com.
Rising shares in Bank of America and Morgan Stanley helped to lift the S&P 0.4% higher on Wednesday. The tech-heavy NASDAQ composite added nearly 0.7. The Dow Jones slipped a fraction to close at 46,253. The Federal Reserve's Beige Book is out and suggests that U.S. tariffs on foreign imports are pushing inflation higher. At the same time, though, it says labor markets were largely stable across the Fed's 12 districts. A sticky court fight is brewing over peanut butter and jelly. Smucker's is suing Trader Joe's, accusing the grocery chain of copying its Uncrustables product. Smucker's says the Trader Joe's version violates several of its trademarks. Legos aren't just for kids. In fact, the latest plastic block set is labeled for 18 and up. The Lego Icon's tropical aquarium features colorful fish, underwater plants, and corals inside a black Lego tank. 4,100 pieces at $480. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
And stock futures this morning look like they are up. We've got the Dow Jones Industrials futures plus 116, NASDAQ futures gaining 167. S&P futures are up 30 points. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. You got a crash in Murfreesboro on 24 westbound before Joe B. Jackson Parkway, exit 84. It is now on the right shoulder. Antioch on 24 westbound at Hickory Hollow Parkway, there's a crash. Also this morning, a crash on I-440 eastbound. This is Berry Hill before I-65, exit 5. The right exit lane is blocked off by it. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.807 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Dan Mandis here. Sam Rutherford is producing. Joan Jones is in the newsroom.
Hey, Dan.
Yes.
I'd like to do a little more fun with audio with you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You got so Fun with Audio, for you folks that don't know, Fun with Audio is Joan and I and Sam riffing on audio and video that we have not yet heard. And it's just very extemporaneous.
Oh, that's a good word.
It's extemporaneous conversation.
Did you look that up this morning?
How come you can say that word?
How come I can say that word? Lucky, I guess.
Okay.
All right.
Okay,
you ready
that
to
was
play?
bizarre. Okay, go ahead, Joan, please.
Here you go. Oh my goodness.
Did you
Stay
shank
there.
this?
Don't move.
She had this whole thing
I did.
planned out,
shanked
apparently,
it.
folks.
All right, here we go.
Decent resume, but go ahead. But there,
Kamala Harris.
well, some people have actually said I was the most qualified candidate ever to run for president.
Yeah.
Some people said
Some people, and
that
actually,
she was the most qualified candidate for president.
right, here we go.
So
She went through all of her
there are those
qualifications
things
up to
that
this
I
point.
needed to make sure that people knew.
That is a decent. That is a decent resume. But go ahead.
But there. Well, some people have actually said I was the most qualified candidate ever to run for president.
Oh, my goodness. She said ever to run for president.
Ever to run.
I like I like the some people say. Very nice. But go ahead.
She's with Kara Swisher.
Egotistical much?
Yeah.
Good Lord. Well, if she was here's the funny thing, Joan.
Mm-hmm.
If she was the most qualified presidential candidate ever, then she was a terrible candidate. Because she should have been, if you think about it, if you're listening to what she's saying, if she was the most qualified ever, then why did she lose? She lost because she ran a terrible campaign and people didn't like her. And she oftentimes didn't make any sense.
She's getting mocked mercilessly online for it.
I mean, she
honestly.
is.
Yeah.
Well, okay, let's go through her resume. She was a district attorney for San Francisco. She was attorney general for the state of California. Now, as we spoke about, and I'm not going to go over all of this, folks, but
she does it in this audio.
Okay. Well,
You want to hear more of her audio?
Yeah, hold on one sec, though.
Okay, go ahead.
In the when she was the district attorney in San Francisco, don't forget that there was a lot of controversy when she was there because there were, number one, she put a lot of people behind bars for
pot offenses.
For pot offenses, that's right. That turned out to be, of course, in modern day, very controversial because what she was trying to do was she was trying to pad her numbers on convictions, right? So we had people from the California Globe on, which is a publication out there in California. When she was attorney general, California is still suffering the consequences from her soft on crime policies when she was attorney general. I don't know much about when she was a senator, but I know that they tried to call her a moderate, but she was anything but. I mean, that was clear. And then, of course, as vice president, she became a national and international joke because of her word salading and that stupid moronic laugh. Yeah. And then she, of course, turned out to be, which, by the way, you know, a politician is a good liar. And so she told lie after lie after lie after lie about, number one, what she represented or what her political views were, because she said, "Oh yeah, I'm very moderate on things." Oh, really? Because let's look at back when you were giving interviews when you were a senator, when you were running for Senate for the state of California, and you were very, very liberal, very progressive on all of these different issues. And so it was like, well, the real Kamala Harris, please stand up. So, I mean, go ahead and run her qualifications there.
All right. So here we go.
I've done, and the fact that I was elected district attorney for 2 terms as the first woman elected attorney general of the state of California. Ran the second largest Department of Justice in the United States, second only to the United States Department of Justice. I was the United States Senator, second black woman elected in the history of the United States.
It's all about identity. It's all about identity.
First woman vice president of the United States.
Yeah, so there you go.
You know what the thing is?
It all began.
Mm-hmm.
It all began because of Willie Brown.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Willie. Okay, so for people that don't know the story, Willie Brown was the mayor of San Francisco, right? So he was the mayor of San Francisco, and she was, I guess, working in the prosecutor's office or whatever it was, but they were having an illicit affair because, Willie was having an affair with Kamala while he was married to, obviously, a woman. And although you never know in San Francisco. But anyway, so, and they had an affair. And then he convinces her to run for office, district attorney, and he sets her up with all kinds of donors and basically helps out his lover to get into political office. That's how she got her political start. And does anybody ever ask her about that? Actually, I should ask that question. Is anybody, like Trump, he should have figured out a way to work that into the debate that he had with Kamala Harris, because I think that would have been a great thing to ask. So, I mean, yeah, I did the most qualified. I think that,
qualified candidate ever.
I think it's just kind of funny. Yeah. Like, okay, so if you were the most qualified candidate ever, then why did you lose? You lost because you were a terrible candidate.
And she lost miserably. Like, he won every swing state.
Well, he won every swing state. He won the popular vote. He won the Electoral College. I mean, and you know what's so interesting, too, is that in that clip, and again, fun with audio, so I'm reacting to this in real time. You heard all of these people in the audience. Who was that with?
Kara Swisher.
Is that like a show or a podcast or?
I don't. It was an odd set. They were on a stage before an audience, so I'm not really sure why she was on that stage.
Well, people are applauding, like they're fans of Kamala Harris. It's like, yay, you lost the campaign as the most qualified presidential candidate ever, and you ended up tens of millions of dollars in debt. Yes. And people are really angry.
Yes.
With Kamala Harris.
And she was asking for donations after getting all that into debt. She was asking for donations to get her out of all that debt.
And people were like, oh, honey, no. No.
So beyond that.
Well, Joe Biden, I don't know if you heard this, but Joe Biden is having a hard time finding donors for his presidential library.
Mm-hmm.
And Obama, his presidential library on the south side of Chicago has run into cost overruns.
I just saw the first pictures of that thing. It's a monstrosity.
Oh, it's like really tall
ugly building I have ever seen.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was an ugly 8 years, so the building might as well be. It was Obama's 8 years. It was also a monstrosity.
Yeah.
So there you go. By the way, all right. So I also have some audio of Stephen A. Smith versus Tom Homan. And they're talking about masks on ice. We'll talk about that straight ahead. 8:15, time to check the roads on WTN.
There's an accident on the right shoulder. Antioch reports an accident 24 westbound at Hickory Hollow. I'm Christy O'Brien.
Sunday today, high around 83. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. You think Stephen A. Smith is going to run for president?
I think he's going to run for something. I don't know that he would run for president, but he's well suited to. He's one of the more, and I do not like his personality whatsoever, but he's well suited to run for something. He's logical.
He's logical. There is a lot of common sense there with Stephen A. Smith. He's not afraid to call out the Democrats. And see, that's why he would have to run as an independent, because the machine that is the Democrat Party would never support Stephen A. Smith because, well, you just said it, Joan. He's logical. And the Democrat Party right now, they are so illogical. So this is at the Kennedy Center. There was a whole thing at the Kennedy Center. There's all this audio today of this conversation at the Kennedy Center. That may have been the Kamala Harris audio with Kara Swisher. Maybe that's where we found that audio as well that you found, Joan. But this is live from the Kennedy Center. You've got Stephen A. Smith and Tom Homan. I think Bill O'Reilly is up there and Chris Cuomo is as well. And they're talking about the issues. And the topic of should ICE agents be allowed to wear masks comes up. And this is Stephen A. Smith versus Tom Homan.
Identity. Law enforcement officials throughout this country don't get the license to do that. They have to walk up to you. They have to identify who they are. They have to make sure it's clear. An ICE agent getting to conceal their identity is not a privilege or a situation that other law enforcement officials have. Why should ICE agents have that?
Look, you know when you said that Stephen A. Smith is logical?
Yeah.
Not here.
I take it back.
So, I mean, I don't know what Tom Homan's going to say. So I'll continue the conversation. But to answer Stephen A. Smith, I'm sorry, but your party, the Democrat Party, is out there calling for, essentially, they're calling for violence against ICE. You have Antifa calling for violence against ICE. We just had the story yesterday where we have these drug dealer kingpins in other countries that are calling for bounties. They have bounties on the heads of ICE agents. They're being threatened. What was it? $12,000? I think it was like $12,000 for information on an ICE agent. I think you had, I don't know what it was, but I mean, everywhere from street agents to, you know, the folks within the Trump administration working for ICE. You've got these drug kingpins that are calling for their assassination, and they've got bounties on their heads. So I would say to Stephen A. Smith, that is why they should be allowed to wear masks, because your party is essentially asking for violence against them. Let's see what Tom Homan has to say.
Why should ICE agents have that?
Look, I don't
Homan is smiling. You know that he's thinking, screw you, all you people that are clapping.
I don't particularly like the mask either, but name another law enforcement agency that's over 1,000% attacks on them. And name another law enforcement agency whose spouses and children have been doxxed on social media and been attacked and bullied in churches and schools. These men and women put a gun on their hip and wear a Kevlar vest to go on the streets every day, look for the worst of the worst, makes this country safer. Them wearing a mask, if that protects them and protects their families, then that has to be done. No one, you know. I remember the days some of these cities, if they weren't wearing a mask during COVID, you got reported to the police and got arrested for it. These men and women are trying to protect themselves and their families. And again, I don't like the mask. I wish there wasn't need for it. But there's not another law enforcement agency dealing with the attacks that ICE is dealing with right now. Look, immigration enforcement, I've been doing this since 1984. It's always been controversial. It's always been emotional. But people need to remember the men and women at ICE, they don't hang their heart on a hook when they go to work. They're mothers and fathers too. They have children too. And they take very, very emotional things home with them every day. You know, I've done this for over 40 years.
Yeah, so, I mean, Tom Homan is right on so many different fronts there. But I would say to Stephen A. Smith, and I would say to Chris Cuomo, because it's O'Reilly and Homan and Stephen A. Smith and Chris Cuomo, is that maybe if your party, Joan, wasn't so repugnant and repulsive and calling for violence against the ICE officers, then they wouldn't have to wear masks. That's the part that Tom Homan left out, but, you know, he was thinking it.
Oh, yeah. He was being kind.
Well, he shouldn't be kind.
I totally agree.
He shouldn't be kind. You know what? If the Democrats are going to do that kind of thing, then no, you absolutely call them out. And I think that is the reason why, and I played this audio a long time ago. Maybe I'll replay it when we come back from this break. But maybe that's the reason why Harry Enton from CNN played this in the 5. But his latest polling, and as he crunches the numbers on CNN, Harry Enton is saying, you know what? The mojo, the momentum that the Democrats had even back in April has completely evaporated. And the reason why it has completely evaporated is because, as I said in the 5 o'clock hour, it's because they are just, number one, they're nonsensical. Number two, they are embracing violence in the streets. Number three, they're not being rational when it comes to this shutdown, among many, many other things. It is 8:22 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. Joan's got the news coming up at 8:30. Joan.
Yeah, a judge has just thrown some cold water on President Trump's authority again. And Franklin, the city of Franklin, is reconsidering a new roundabout. We've got that story coming up here at 8:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Joan, I don't know if I mentioned to you, but there's a special message for Chris Hand. Did you know about this?
I did not.
A special message for Chris Hand has come in, and we're going to give him that message coming up at about 8:35 during the crisscross handoff.
Oh, I can't wait.
A special message just for Chris.
What a good, terrific, professional radio tease.
You got to hear this message specifically for Chris Hand. It is coming up
at what time?
At 8:35.
Okay.
On Super Talk 99.7. Maybe 8:36 if Joan goes long on the news. The Generator Super Center. The weather in Middle Tennessee can get crazy, which is why you need a backup home standby generator from my friends at the Generator Super Center. Now, they are the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. You could get a free quote and get peace of mind when you have one installed. There's a slight chance of some crazy weather this weekend, as a matter of fact. Wouldn't you feel safer? Wouldn't you feel more secure if you had a standby home backup generator from my friends at the Generator Super Center? They're not going to leave you in the dark, and financing is available. And the Generator Super Center does feature expert installation and 24-hour monitoring. Call them, tell them Dan told you to reach out at 615-879-1952. When the power is out in your community, in your neighborhood, your power is going to be on thanks to your backup home standby generator from the Generator Super Center. Find them online, GeneratorSuperCenterofNashville.com.
Listen every Saturday to Renovation Nation here on Super Talk 99.7, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. See you there.
Dan Mandis and friends, if you need to save money on insurance, check out my friends at King and Associates Insurance. So many of my listeners over the years have reached out and let me know that they've been able to save and save big time with King and Associates Insurance. Now, one guy I know, his 16-year-old daughter got into a car accident, but King and Associates still saved him thousands of dollars when the time came for new auto insurance. You know why? Because at King and Associates Insurance, they know that life happens, and as independent agents, they can find the best deal for you and your family. Now, what they're going to do is they're going to weed out the non-competitive companies and find the best options for you, and they'll keep the communication ongoing and flawless. King & Associates know it's not only relationships with the best companies around that help you, but also bundling. And they also know with King & Associates Insurance that they are going to fight for the best deal possible for you. Check him out online. It is tkinginsurance.com. That is tkinginsurance.com, 615-321-8121.
Good morning. It's now 8:30, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. As protests against the Trump administration's immigration policies grow, more law enforcement agencies are partnering with ICE to help pick up and detain undocumented immigrants.
Under a program called 287G, city, county, and state law enforcement agencies agreed to provide people and logistical support to immigration and customs enforcement. And it can be lucrative.
We were offered $25 million to be a part of 287G,
says Dallas Police Chief Daniel Como.
And we said absolutely no. Turned it down.
184 agencies in Texas and the state DPS itself have said yes. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
The Supreme Court appears to be poised to change how voting districts are designed. In arguments this week, the conservative justices signaled they don't interpret Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act the same way as it has long been held.
Section 2 of the act has long been a guardrail against states diluting the influence of voters of color by packing them into districts or breaking communities apart. When a court found Louisiana's map violated Section 2, the state redrew the map with an eye on race to create a second majority black district. A group of non-black voters sued, arguing that was unconstitutional. The court's conservative majority today appeared sympathetic.
That's ABC's Devin Dwyer. Justices Clarence Thomas, Sam Alito, and Neil Gorsuch appeared inclined to bar virtually any use of race in redistricting. They suggested that race-conscious district lines may be unconstitutional. Hey, check the pantry. The Food and Drug Administration says 16 brands of cinnamon could be hazardous to your health. The spice has elevated levels of lead. Now, the FDA issued recalls over this. You can see which brands are affected on my X account. Find me on X at Joan Jones WTN. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management online at beaconcm.com. We are trading on Wall Street now. Dow Jones Industrials begins 110 points higher. NASDAQ is up 106, and the S&P 500 index is plus 21 points. That's the latest news. We've got traffic and weather ahead. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. Dan Mandis here. Don't forget the day after tomorrow, this coming Saturday from 9 to 6. It is Vortex Day at the Glock store. It's going to be amazing. Now, look, if you've never shot with a Vortex red dot optic or, frankly, any red dot optic, this is a huge opportunity for you, courtesy of the Glock store. Now, I do have a red dot optic. It is amazing. It did help my shooting. And the Glock store, they're the ones that introduced me to it. Now, Vortex just introduced the enclosed versions of their red dot optics, along with a brand new multi-reticle aiming system. Just $10 plus a box of ammo gets you into the range for a personalized red dot optic training session. Now, the Glock store introduced me again to red dot optics. I love them. You will too. And by the way, you can apply the cost of the ammo to your new Vortex optic. You know, Vortex is allowing the Glock store to slash prices beyond their minimum advertised price to save you money. So this is a great optic and a great opportunity. Great prices from the Glock store. Now remember, this is this coming Saturday, day after tomorrow. It is Vortex Day at the Glock store 9 to 6. They've got swag and giveaways ready for you, including 10 of the new red dot optics. That, my friends, a $400 prize just for showing up. The Glock store, minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere, especially on Vortex Day. That is this coming Saturday, day after tomorrow. Don't miss it. Find the Glock store online, glockstore.com, shoot270.com. Dan Mandis here for Window Nation. Friends, it is October, and so is the return of chilly air seeping into your home. That is, if you've got those old and stuck and cracked windows, my friends at Window Nation, they can help you. You know, they've got some of the best replacement windows out there. I've got 4 in my home, including 2 in my all-important basement studio. Now, right now, Window Nation has a great deal for you, listeners to my show. This month, when you buy 2 windows, you get 2 free. Also, there's no limit as to how many windows you replace, and your total price includes 1-day installation. Make no payments for 2 years, no monthly payments, no down payment, and no interest until 2027. That is a big deal, of course, with the holidays coming up. Window Nation, they want to put great new replacement windows in your home, and they also want to save you money. That's why I like Window Nation, and that's why they've got an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau. 866-90-NATION is the phone number, 866-90-NATION, windownation.com.
Watch it in Brentwood on 65 northbound side. Before Old Hickory Boulevard South, there's a crash that takes out the right lane. Jefferson Street this morning at Dr. D.B. Todd Jr. Boulevard. A crash in that location as well. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Selling your home can be stressful, but it doesn't have to be. Get a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. There are no showings, no open houses, no stress. Work with the #1 real estate team in the U.S. and close with confidence. Go to markspain.com today.
.836, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super text line is 615-737-9986, 615-737-WWTN.
If you're watching on the YouTube stream, did you see Dan throw up his hands in disgust at me?
He doesn't have his headphones on, Joan.
Why not?
I don't know, because my great joke that I'm about to do isn't going to land if he doesn't hear what I'm about to do.
I don't want to miss the joke. I'm hurrying.
Oh, my goodness.
You don't want to miss the joke.
You know, professional radio hosts are prepared when they enter a studio.
You know, I've actually thought about just ditching the headphones altogether.
Have you really?
Yeah, I'm kind of tired of them.
Why are you tired of headphones?
Well, we got the speaker above our head now, so you can hear everything in here, even when we're playing audio or when Joan's talking without the headphones.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know.
Really? You can hear all that?
Yeah.
It doesn't feed back?
I didn't know that.
No, it doesn't
They
feed
got a
back
little,
at all.
speaker.
Like, listen, you can hear Joan right now without your headphones.
Hello, hello, hello.
Oh.
What about in here?
Yeah, I can hear you too, Sam.
See what I'm saying? So I'm like,
Yeah.
and it doesn't feed back into the mic.
Yeah, but,
Wow.
but see, listen, this is so inside baseball. But Chris, here's the deal.
Tell me, Dan.
Is that without my headphones, I couldn't hear my amazing voice.
That's what it's all about.
So close to my ears.
This is the thing this is why I always do one ear, because I don't like listening to my own voice. And I don't know how any of you in the listening audience can stand it.
Wait, you've got a better voice than I do. Good Lord, I've got the worst voice on the station.
I don't know. It's just like, it's weird to hear myself. I'd rather.
I keep my headphones turned down.
Yeah.
Like most times, I've got my headphones turned down unless I gotta, listen to you people.
But this is why I keep one ear off, because I feel like I can actually hear what I sound like instead of hearing myself in my cans.
What's that, Sam? There's a call for Chris. Okay, who is it? Oh, it's Nancy Pelosi?
Shut up.
Oh, wow.
Hey, Dan, two can play that game.
Shut up, man. Shut up.
Oh, okay. Now Sam's got the shut up soundbite.
Shut up.
So now we're all just gonna have fun with the
Shut up.
Shut up. You know what that's from?
Yeah.
Did you see? Do you know who that report? Okay, so set it up, Mandis. Set it up.
Set it up, Dan.
So yesterday there was, or at least earlier this week, whenever it was, there is a reporter from Lindell TV.
I love that Lindell TV. Yeah, my favorite part about this clip, are you going to do the video? Because after Nancy Pelosi tells her to shut up and she gets the soundbite, she turns around.
Yes.
And the smile that comes across her face because she thought what we would all think, oh, that's cold.
We were laughing at this. Okay, so let's set this up. Reporter from Lindell TV is kind of following Nancy Pelosi. And by the way, can I just say that if Nancy Pelosi cannot walk without somebody helping her walk, it's time to step aside, Nance. But anyway, so you folks watching on Super Talk TV can see this, where Pelosi is walking along with how old is she? She is walking along with the help of someone, and this Lindell TV reporter is following her.
Congresswoman Pelosi, are you at all concerned that the new January 6th committee will find you liable for that day? Are you at all concerned about the new January 6th committee finding you liable for that day? Why did you refuse the National Guard on January 6th?
Shut up.
She's hobbling along, 86?
Yeah.
86 years old.
She's 85 years old.
85.
Yeah.
So she's hobbling along, and then really clearly this reporter touched a nerve because suddenly she gets all the energy that she can muster.
Shut up.
To say shut up.
And she points her bony finger at her.
Her crooked little finger.
That would scare me more than the shut up.
You know, it's so funny, and I made this joke earlier. Hopefully it'll be funnier this time.
Do I need my headphones on?
Yes. You know, Nancy Pelosi didn't have to turn her entire body around. She could have just had her head spin around like she's possessed.
Like The Exorcist.
Like The Exorcist. That's exactly.
I think
Chris
that demonic twist of her whole body is even scarier. I mean, she completely forgets that she needs to be holding on to somebody and pivots.
All right, so let's listen to the rest of this. Let's listen to the rest of the story.
6th committee finding you liable for that day. Why did you refuse the National Guard on January 6th?
Shut up. I did not refuse the National Guard. The president didn't send it. Why are you coming here with Republican talking points as if you're a serious journalist?
The American people want to know. We still have questions. Thank you.
Big smile.
Big smile. For you folks listening on the radio, she turns around and she's got a big smile like, got her.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's a money clip.
Oh, that is, what? Because you know what the funny, so she's a younger reporter and she totally knows. She totally knows
she
that
gets it. Yep.
in real time that she's got her. And that clip is going to go viral and you know, silly talk show hosts like me are going to be playing that clip. But here's the deal, Chris, as you know, Nancy Pelosi took responsibility for not having the National Guard.
She did.
You want to intro the clip?
Well, you just did.
I've got
You just said. You said, as you know, Nancy Pelosi took responsibility for this.
Okay.
And then you wait, how do I intro that more?
You say, yes, Dan.
I did.
You say, well, Dan, there was that moment where she was in the back of the car when she was talking about where were the Capitol Police and the National Guard, and she took responsibility.
Well, Dan, come on, man. There was that moment when she was in the back of the car.
Yes.
Owning it and taking responsibility for not ordering.
Let's listen to that, shall we?
Let's go down memory lane.
It's funny you should mention that, Chris.
Should we call the Capitol Police? I mean, the National Guard? Why weren't the National Guard there to begin with?
They thought that they had sufficient resources.
No, there's not a question of how they had. They don't know. They clearly didn't know, and I take responsibility for not having them just prepared for more.
What did I? Well, listen, if she took responsibility, then I guess there's nothing else to talk about.
Also, bring back masks for Democrats. I prefer Nancy a bit more muffled.
Shut up.
Sorry.
That's all she has to say to you, Chris Hand.
You know, shut up. She's in the geriatric corner, so she's 85 years old. Maxine Waters is 87. Bernie Sanders, 84.
Okay, so who is the oldest? I want to be fair. Who is the oldest Republican in Congress?
Is it Grassley? He's like
but
ancient.
he's in the Senate. Well, I guess it didn't matter. But who's the oldest House member? Because you just mentioned.
I'm looking at it.
Well, Bernie
91,
Sanders is
yeah,
a senator.
Grassley is 91.
Like all of these people, just go home
Wow.
and be with your grandkids for crying
wanna,
out loud.
I want to ask that question. Why don't they retire? Like the only thing that I ever think about is, do I have enough money to retire?
You don't have $418 million to your name?
I was actually talking to Kennedy about this last night. We were on our way home from church, and I was making her listen to the BBC World Service because it's funny.
Why is it funny?
It's just funny. It's always funny with the left talking points and then the accents on top of it.
Yes.
So it's a good time. So we're listening, and then there's some music. It's good. It's great. So there's this musician that's retiring. Somebody in Europe. She's retiring at 25, and I was like, good for her.
Yeah.
And she said, would you retire at 25? I said, well, if I had that kind of money, I would. And then I thought to myself, I said, no, I wouldn't. I would just probably end up getting fired because I wouldn't have any more reservations.
Have y'all heard of FU money?
Yeah. I don't have it yet.
FU money. That's what it's all about. I shouldn't say that I've been saving my entire life to have enough FU money to do what
If you traded like the Pelosi's have.
Well, listen, Nancy Pelosi didn't do any insider trading. That is fake news. What she did was she got a good savings account. 4-5% interest.
Sure, over many years.
She saved it. Anybody can do that. You too could turn $174,000 into $280 million.
Not in my household. Not in my neighborhood.
Not mine either.
You got to cancel Netflix then.
Right.
Stop going to Starbucks.
Speaking of Netflix, so people apparently are talking in the YouTube chat about my Karate Kid shirt.
I didn't know that was a Karate Kid shirt.
It's a Karate Kid shirt. I've had this Amy bought this for me for Christmas a few years ago.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you got it from Mr. Miyagi.
No, that would be interesting because Miyagi's been dead for like years.
All right, R.I.P.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Rest in peace.
Throwing that salt in that wound, Mr. Miyagi.
Shut up.
Wax on, wax off.
So Amy and I had this whole, and I want everybody's opinion on this. Amy and I had this whole conversation on this. So we watched Karate Kid on whatever it is, Netflix, whatever it is. And so we really enjoyed it for like a long time.
With like the original one, right? Or are you talking about Will Smith's
Ralph Macchio and
Okay.
Just the one that came back.
Karate Kid classic.
Yes. And so they kind of like jumped the shark, lost the plot. We've got like 3 episodes left. I think maybe it's only 1 episode left. And so Amy and I had this long conversation.
Wait. You're not talking about the 80s movie. You're talking about the
I'm talking
Netflix
about
series.
the Netflix series.
Isn't that called Cobra Kai?
Yes, Cobra Kai.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I said, Cobra Kai. And so...
Shut up.
So we're debating whether or not, because we watched the entire series, and I think there's like 1 or 2 episodes left, and we both decided, like when we saw the last one, that it's now bordering on stupid. Do we put in the final few hours to just actually, you want to turn your mic off?
Oh, geez, Dan.
What? You know what, Sam?
Shut up.
Don't cough into the microphone. Do we put in the time to finish this series so that we can at least say that we finished it?
No.
Or do we just like say, screw it, we're done?
No. And you should cancel your Netflix membership. And then in the comments, you should say, you're transing the kids and Cobra Kai fell off.
Cobra Kai fell off the whatever it is.
You know what Cobra Kai needs? Needs a trans athlete.
Do you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if they did have a trans athlete at some point.
Would you be mad if you stuck it out for the last few episodes and found out that that's who wins the tournament? Just beating broads up.
You know what? I would be.
Just beating those broads.
Have a guy enter the women's competition. Oh, my God. See, that would be great for the conservative cause because it would be proof that men pretending as women can do serious damage to, female
and
karate people.
I would need it to an 80s montage.
You would need it to an 80s montage?
Just this dude just roundhouse kicking these broads. Dun, dun, dun.
That would actually be very funny.
Gonna need a montage.
There's so many things that I have not finished yet. Like I have not finished America's Morning Show, The Morning Show.
Okay.
I've not finished The Morning Show, which they're already now out with the season 4, and I haven't even started season 3 yet. There's a number of other ones that I have a problem with finishing things.
I don't finish anything.
No?
No TV series.
Okay.
I have a
Why
very
not?
hard time.
Do you have a problem with commitment like I do? Because clearly I have a problem. That's what Amy says. I've got a problem with commitment. and I tell her, do you guys shut not, up. Do you guys Shut not up. finish home projects either? Are you one of those guys?
Here's the best part. You
Hey,
don't.
Joan,
Don't.
Shut up.
You don't have to finish what you don't start, Joan.
Yeah. Okay. Joan, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Do you finish what you start?
I try.
Okay, that's not good enough.
Okay.
You need to try harder.
Hey, Dan.
Try. Do or do not. There is no try.
Excuse me, Sam. Hey, Dan.
Yes.
Shut up. Thank you. Da-da.
That's like
Nancy
that's like
Pelosi's
the
mind melting.
It's like
by
the
way.
15th email chime I've heard.
Yeah, I know. I don't know where it's coming
Yeah,
from.
is that me?
Yeah.
Was that me?
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Did you just
It's
send
not
me an
me.
email?
No.
That's not me.
He just emailed you as an attachment of Nancy Pelosi saying "shut up."
You know what I say to my computer?
Shut up.
You know, if
That
I
was
was
way overdone
if I was
this
going to
bit.
email Dan an attachment for something, it would probably sound more like this.
I will kick you in the neck.
Okay. I didn't know we had that on the hotkey.
Apparently we do now. All right, 8:51 on Super Talk 99.7. All right, so what is coming up on the Chris Hand Show?
Well, we're going to do the battle of the town halls because last night you had CNN running to the left and then you had News Nation trying to make their way to the middle. We'll talk about that while Donald Trump is cracking down on crime, saving 5,400 kids. How about that? That's massive news.
That is huge.
And it's not going to be celebrated the way it should be. So we'll talk about that and a whole lot more.
What did you think of Stephen A. Smith and Tom Homan going back and forth? I played some of that audio earlier.
I think that for Stephen A. Smith, if you want to be that outside voice of the Democrat Party, to jump onto the masking talking point was just stupid.
Yeah, and Tom Homan, Homan left like 3 or 4 talking points out of his response, but I don't know why Stephen A. Smith... Joan said that Stephen A. Smith was logical, and then she had to recant that when I played her that audio.
Yeah.
Fake news, Joan.
I don't think it's recanting. I just think that he had a moment. But for the most part, he's one of the more sensible Democrats you've ever heard in your life. Shut up.
Listen, I think Stephen A.'s running for president. I think there's no way around it.
Okay, but here's the question. Do you think the Democrats would support Stephen A. Smith as their candidate? Because he is antithetical to some of the things that they believe. He is more, as Joan did say, and she's right,
What do the
he is more rational and logical.
What do the Democrats love more than anything?
Power.
Exactly.
Okay.
So they're going to go with the guy that's going to take them to the dance. And then I would say for Stephen A. Smith, he provides a unique opportunity for the Democrats because they can control him the same way they control Joe Biden.
I don't know. He had a very sensible remark to say about Charlie Kirk, and it got a lot of people upset.
Let's go back. Let's go back to Trump term 1. Even Trump coming into office had strings being pulled by old school Republican Guard neocons because he didn't understand the inner workings of government the way he does now.
Right.
So as much as you could like Stephen A. and how he's going to speak, there's still going to be weasels behind him doing what they want to do.
Do you believe, though, that he is somebody who would put up with strings? Do you believe that he is somebody who can be, as you said, controlled? I don't know if he would go for that.
But
There it is
What
again.
is that?
But I don't think he would know that he was having to deal with weasels behind the scenes.
You don't think so?
I think that they could hide their hands.
All right. I don't know. I feel like he is uncontrollable. I feel like Trump did have to make some concessions to get the Republicans on board. That, as you said.
Yep.
Who was it? Reince Priebus.
Yep.
Was one of those. Sean
Pompeo,
Spicer.
Bolton,
Yes,
Pence.
all of those people.
All of them.
And
Everyone.
he's been paying for those ever since. Now they're getting paid back anyway. By the way, I want to clear something up, Joan and Sam. There's a big debate going on, and these are scurrilous rumors that Murphy's show wasn't feeling good yesterday.
Oh.
And I guess Chad wasn't feeling great. And they're saying that I'm the one that is responsible for making everybody sick. You and Sam, in a matter of 15 minutes, both have hacked into the microphone. I want to make it clear that I'm not the one that made everybody sick. It was actually you, kind sir.
You're just the first one to get healthy, which is actually a lot more proof of guilt than
Is that what
anything
it
else.
is?
Yeah.
I never got sick, so it's in there. It's whatever you guys are passing around in that studio.
What is actually incredible, Joan, is that you and Ken don't get sick more often because it is a disgusting mess in there.
It's just a little dust encrusted. I mean, come on.
It's all the good bacteria.
Yeah.
It's the good bacteria.
Didn't your mom tell you have to eat a peck of dirt in your lifetime?
You know what, Joan? Your immunity is getting stronger with every day in that dust-encrusted news center. All righty, well, that was a long way around. 8:55, Joan, what's coming up?
Yeah, coming up here, another Senate vote takes place today. What are the chances the shutdown ends with it? Also, city leaders in Franklin changing their minds on roundabouts. That's coming up here at 9 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. 8:55, Nashville's Morning News. Tennessee National. Listen, if you've always wanted to live, I was talking earlier about if I could retire right now, and if I had that like Nancy Pelosi money, I would go and I would buy a big house over there at Tennessee National. 20 minutes outside of Knoxville, right there on the lake. Now, realize this weekend, Saturday, October 18th, they are releasing brand new phase of lake lots. Great deals. Tennessee National Lakefront Resort, Golf, and Marina Community. Listen to these deals waiting for you. Cottage package with a boat slip, $379.9. Home sites with 40-mile views and covered boat slips, $99.9. Move-in ready homes and custom builds, again, waiting for you. Lot sizes up to 7 acres. Incredible amenities, pickleball, swimming pools, coffee shops, and an amazing marina, and a whole lot more. Now, this new phase lot release is happening day after tomorrow, Saturday, October 18th. Find them online, TennesseeNational.com, TennesseeNational.com. Call and secure your private tour, 865-408-9992. Tell them Dan told you to reach out, 865-408-9992. $8:57, Nashville's Morning News, DT McCall's. Listen, DT McCall's, I was a customer before I was an endorser. They are a great Tennessee company. They are here for you with whatever you need for your home or garage. If you need indoor furniture, maybe you need an appliance, check out DT McCall's online or in person for great deals, great merchandise, great selection. Basically, they've got furniture or appliances for every single budget. Check out the front page of their website. It's dtmccalls.com. Again, specials and great prices on all the best brands of appliances or washer and dryer sets, indoor furniture. You need something for your garage, maybe a lawnmower. They've got it at DT McCall's. They've been doing this for over 100 years with a focus on customer service. And if you buy it, they are going to deliver it for free and haul away the old stuff. 5 locations across Middle Tennessee, Carthage, Cookeville, Lebanon, Lafayette, and Franklin. Always online, dtmccalls.com.